Chapter 23-28, Heavenly Note. Chapter 23-28, Heavenly Note. Ha ha ha. Go to Xian Yu mountain range to gather spirit grass? Then he's courting death. Looks like he's going to die before he can even wait for the monthly notice. In the Pill Pavilion's meeting room, the 9 elders were exceptionally excited. After hearing about Long Fei leaving Pill Pavilion Peak and entering the Xian Yu mountain range, every one of them were incomparably happy. If you don't let Long Fei obtain the alchemy, then he has no way of obtaining the alchemy. This way, he can only go find the spirit grass himself, and if he wants to enter the Xian Yu mountain range now, it must be known that the Xian Yu mountain range is one of the 3 great forbidden mountain ranges. He definitely won't come out this time. Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed. They hated Long Fei more for killing them, hated him for trampling on their dignity, and said that they did not understand alchemy. Right now, Long Fei entering the Xian Yu mountain range was basically no different from courting death. The leading Qinling said, regardless of whether or not Long Fei can come out of Xian Yu mountain range, there is one thing that we can be sure of, and that is that he will not be able to complete the mission for the next 12 days. If he cannot, then his great elder of the Pill Pavilion will have to finish it. That's why we have to make our preparations. If he can't take out the monthly pellets, we can take them out. This way, we can compete with him, who doesn't understand alchemy. Who doesn't know alchemy? When the time comes, I must ruthlessly humiliate him. One of the elders spoke, Old Man Qin. What pills are we refining that would cause the Xian Yu sect to be unable to operate? It would let the entire sect know the importance of our Pill Pavilion. Exactly. Now that the Elder Yi is dead, it's fine if we don't punish him. But since that bastard Long Fei is now a great elder of the Pill Pavilion, the entire sect is laughing at our Pill Pavilion. Several elders said angrily. Qinling said, Long Fei is Long Fei, and Xian Yu sect is the Xian Yu sect. We have to be clear about one thing. We cannot let all the disciples of the sect not get access to the alchemy cultivation medicine. If not, the people of the Xian Yu sect will disperse, and the people of the Xian Yu sect will disperse. The Xian Yu sect will be our home. 1 yard is 1 yard. Revenge is revenge. You still have to forge the pills. Even though Qin Ling hated Long Fei, she knew clearly that if their Pill Pavilion did not have alchemy, then there was no reason for them to exist. After all, this place had long since been his home after staying in the Xian Yu sect for dozens of years. Qin Ling said, go and prepare, now that Long Fei is not here, we can have a good alchemy, in addition. He pondered for a moment. Qin Ling said, everyone, during the process of alchemy, let's carefully study the pill theories that Long Fei has spoken of, it might be helpful to us. Although he was unwilling to accept the results. But there must be a reason why Long Fei was able to defeat Yi Changfeng. No one was stupid, they also wanted to raise the alchemy technique up, although they disdained to say it, but in their hearts, they wanted to learn Long Fei's alchemy techniques. What did you say? Yi Yorong entered the Xian Yu mountain range? Yes, she went in with Long Fei. From what I know, she didn't accept any sect missions. A Zhu family disciple. He would always remember the mission to enter the Xian Yu sect. After listening for a moment, Zhu Yuan muttered, Yi Yorong being dismissed, this is most likely all part of Yi Liuxian's arrangements, to let her out of her body to do something else. That thing might be in the Xian Yu sect, but it's very likely to be somewhere in the Xian Yu mountain range. Saying this, Zhu Yuan's eyes flashed with a bright light, and he said, Heavenly Note, ask the great general to send people into the Xian Yu mountain range. Yes, sir. In addition, Zhu Yuan laughed coldly and said, tell me about the 7th prince's situation. With Yi Changfeng dead, the 7th prince is now like a tortoise who has been withdrawn into its tortoise shell. He doesn't even dare to leave the door, for fear that Long Fei will take his life. This hedonistic prince must be used to his advantage. Ever since Yi Changfeng was killed, Zhao Yitian hid in his living quarters with his tail between his legs. The key point was, he wanted to leave the Xian Yu sect, but he couldn't. He was on tenterhooks every day, afraid that Long Fei would cause trouble for him. Miao Chong had not moved an inch away from her for the past few days. Even so, he was still worried. He continued to send out his bodyguards to call for reinforcements and investigate the situation in the capital. However, after leaving one by one, He became like a stone sinking into the ocean. There was no response. This made Zhao Etian even more afraid in his heart. Yes, sir. One of the Zhu family disciples immediately walked out of his room and activated the Heavenly Note message. Heavenly Note sect. This was the special method of communication used in the army. Under normal circumstances, it was only used in times of emergency. He absolutely could not use it for himself. However, the Zhu family was the family that controlled an army of 1 million people, and Zhu Yaozong was even a peak Shenwu realm powerhouse. However, the moment the Heavenly Note message was activated, Gui Qingshan's eyes trembled. Heavenly Note sect's message. Zhu family? Miao Chong also quickly rushed over and said, General, it's the sound wave from Sky Sound transmission technique. Others didn't know. However, the two of them were extremely familiar with the sound waves of the Heavenly Note message, because the Heavenly Note sect was developed by Gui Qingshan. Gui Qingshan said, Does the Zhu family need to make a move? Miao Chong said, Could it be that the Zhu family has discovered something? Gui Qingshan slightly said, Could it be about the Xianyu secret territory? Miao Chong said, I heard that there is a tomb of a true martial emperor below the Xianyu secret territory. Is that true? Zhu family, the Zhao family must be here for this tomb, right? Gui Qingshan shook his head, I'm not sure yet, but the Xianyu sect must have something that the Zhu and Zhao families coveted. What exactly is it? Miao Chong asked, Does sect master Yi not know? Gui Qingshan said, I asked him, but he doesn't know. And then Gui Qingshan said, Miao Chong, keep an eye on the 7th prince and also send people to observe the Zhu family's movements. If Zhu Yaozong personally makes a move, it means that the Zhu family must have made some huge discoveries, so you must immediately think of ways to control Zhu Yuan and the others. If it's any other Zhu family powerhouse, then we'll just wait and see. Miao Chong immediately said, Okay, I will do it immediately. Yi Yorong's every move was being monitored by the Zhu family. Similarly, had also spied on Zhu Yuan and the other Zhu family disciples. After Yi Yorong, Long Fei, and the others left the sect, Zhu Yuan immediately went to the task palace to accept a normal mission from the Xianyu mountain range. Originally, it was a 1-star mission, but this time, more than 10 disciples from the Zhu family went out together. Your Highness, I'll personally go this time. I'll definitely bring you good news. Miao Chong said heavily. Zhao Etian said, All right, you must see my mother and get him to send more powerhouse. I want to kill all of them. Miao Chong was startled for a moment, and then said, Okay. Miao Chong also left. He did not go to the southern palace, but followed Zhu Yuan and the others into the Xianyu mountain range. Long Fei. Yi Yorong said, Up ahead is the Xianyu mountain range. Everyone take a break. After entering the mountain range, listen to my instructions, you must not go down the wrong path. There were many demon beasts in the mountain, so normal demon beasts were easy to deal with. However, once they met abnormal grade 7 rating monster and beasts, they would die for sure. Long Fei was secretly excited. It's time to level up. Chapter 23-29 Doesn't Listen. Fight in the future. Chapter 23-29 Doesn't Listen. Fight in the future. In Xianyu mountain range, demon beast ran rampant and was incomparably dangerous. However, Yi Yorong's deific consciousness could reach up to a few thousand meters, and could always ingeniously avoid these demon beasts. Not even a wild animal. Long Fei didn't gain any experience at all. He was truly depressed in his heart. He had come here to level up, but what about the EXP? We'll rest here tonight and continue our journey tomorrow morning. The 5 of them walked into the man-made cave. This cave was dug by those who ventured into the mountain range for the purpose of resting at night. He lit a bonfire. Xiao Dai, Thin Monkey, and the big-sized trio were surrounding the bonfire, organizing the spirit grass that they had collected today. Long Fei and Yi Yorong were standing guard outside the cave. Long Fei could not help but ask, What are you looking for after entering the mountain this time? Yi Yorong looked up at the stars in the sky, and said indifferently, Find something. Long Fei asked, What is it? Yi Yorong shook his head, and said, I'm not too sure either, I should be clear about it once we reach there. You don't even know what these things are, yet you've come to such a dangerous mountain range to search for them? Are you kidding? However, with Yi Yorong's cultivation, she had enough power to protect herself in this dangerous forest. She could completely avoid demon beast. Even if she met a powerful big demon beast, she could still escape. Finding something wasn't too hard. Seeing that Yi Yorong did not say anything, he did not pursue the matter further and asked, "Oh right, where are you from? How is the black scale carving doing? I haven't seen him for the past few days." Long Fei missed her a little. Yi Yorong slightly said, the injuries on its body have yet to heal. When she thought of the black scale carving, she immediately thought of her current self. Similarly, the injuries on her body had not healed yet as well. The Infinity Burning Sword's damage was too strong. The burning poison had penetrated deep into her bone marrow, and it was basically impossible to completely remove it. Unless there was some kind of Deluo gold pill, this kind of burning poison would accompany her for the rest of her life. Swallowing her cultivation. True Qi. He was continuously eating away at her. Long Fei asked, "Still not done yet?" Yi Yorong revealed a bitter smile. Its internal organs were all injured, displaced, and suffered extremely serious internal injuries. Right now, it can only barely suppress the pain in its body. Healing is too difficult. Even if it is cured, I'm afraid that it will never have the chance to break through again in this lifetime. There was a faint pain. Long Fei looked at Yi Yorong. He could feel that the wound on Yi Yorong's abdomen was still there, and the reason she was wearing such a tight suit was definitely because her abdomen was wrapped in a layer of bandage, causing her to tremble from the pain. He didn't have the ability to see the wound, but Long Fei could feel it. Long Fei said slightly, "Let me see it next time, I'll think of a way." "And you?" Yi Yorong was faintly moved, but she knew in her heart that there was no antidote for the infinite burning sword's poison, and that even the elders of the Ming clan could not do anything about it. No matter how powerful Long Fei was, he wouldn't be able to save her. However, Yi Yorong's heart felt warm. There was a man who cared about her. The two fell silent. Late at night. From afar, the roars and growls of Demon Beast constantly came. The nights were their domain. Demon Beastess were much more powerful than their daytime counterparts. Furthermore, most of them moved at night, looking for food. As Long Fei listened to the demon beast's roars, his heart began to itch. Experience, these are all experience points. No way. I'm here to level up, I can't miss any chance. Immediately, Long Fei looked at Yi Yorong and said, "Go in the cave and rest. I'll keep watch." Yi Yorong said, "You should rest." Long Fei said, "I told you to go in and rest before going back. Where did all this nonsense come from? I've slept for 3 days and 3 nights, and I simply can't sleep now. Go quickly. If you don't go, how am I going to level?" Long Fei also muttered. Yi Yorong said, "What?" Long Fei immediately said, "I said, a woman cannot stay up late. If she stays up late, she will become ugly." Yi Yorong rolled her eyes at Long Fei. Her divine sense had sensed it before, but there weren't any demon beast in this area, so there wouldn't be any danger. "Rest well. I'll prepare breakfast for you tomorrow morning." Yi Yorong walked into the cave. After half an hour, Long Fei was sure that she would not come out again. His figure flashed, and he leaped into the darkness, grinning sinisterly. "This is my world now." The sky sword moved. A gash appeared on his arm, and blood began to flow out, and the smell of blood began to spread in all directions. Demon Beast was extremely sensitive to the smell of blood. The human blood made them even more excited. Under normal circumstances, Demon Beast would be able to smell the scent of blood from a few kilometers away, but after Long Fei spat out a bit of fresh blood, all the Demon Beast within a radius of 10 kilometers started to throb. It was as if a gale had suddenly blown out of a calm lake. All of them were completely excited. It charged madly in Long Fei's direction, as if it had been injected with chicken blood. Boom, boom, boom. Rumble, rumble. All of a sudden, Demon Beast from all directions rushed over. They were stimulated by the smell of Long Fei's blood. As Long Fei heard the footsteps from all directions, he muttered, "Damn, this daddy's blood is that strong? Only a powerful blood vein's power could cause so many demon beasts to go crazy. Demon beasts' reaction towards blood was tens of thousands of times more sensitive than humans. They could differentiate between the blood and the blood because the blood was that of gifted vein and the strength that blood vein possessed was great. Long Fei had just spat out blood, but it did not even stop for half a second before the demon beast roared. What was his blood vein? And then he sucked the blood from his arm and said, "Let's find a chance and see what kind of blood vein we are." His expression shook. Holding the sky sword in his hand, Long Fei swept his gaze across the area, stared at a certain spot, and said, "You want to eat this daddy's meat, right? I will let you all die first." The sky sword moved. Long Fei quickly charged forward, looking at the incoming three-rate monster and beast, phantom sword dance. Kill. Boom. The powerful force of the sword move was released, and with 3 sword strikes, the three-rate monster and beast was directly killed. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing three-rate monster and beast for obtaining 1900 experience, True Chi knows 80 points, Arrogant God energy value, 1 point. Aren't you too inexperienced? It would be better to kill than to do so. Very bitter. Of course. Not all demon beast could have as much experience as elixir experts. Continue. Long Fei yearned to level up. Be it in a game or the current Zhenwu continent, level was everything. Especially the Zhenwu continent. There was nothing here that couldn't be worn, so the level was even more important. Body refinement, blood refinement, chi refinement, essence condensation, elixir, essence refinement, spirit refinement, arrogant form, large accomplishment, and finally the final Zhenwu realm. The higher the level, the stronger the strength. The more powerful one was. Long Fei needed to level up. If possible, he wanted to level up directly to the Zhenwu realm. He no longer had to be afraid of Yi Yorong. Then he would be able to ruthlessly crush her. Powerful women have strong charisma, but Long Fei still wished for her to be gentle, at least in front of him. Not obedient. Strong on me. Chapter 2330 Foodies. Chapter 2330 Foodies Kill. Long Fei continued to conjure sword moves. He did not defend at all, but he used all his strength to fight. Had also unleashed the moves of the phantom sword dance to its limits. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk the sword cheese overlapped and exploded out. Wave after wave of power exploded crazily. The 3 demon beasts were blocked by this heavy sword chi, countless sword wounds appeared all over their bodies, and the bloody grooves on their heads quickly bottomed out. Ding, ding, ding. The system beeped crazily. He didn't have much experience, but he could use the amount to replenish it. There were indeed a lot of experience amongst the experts in the Golden Protector level, but it would be too difficult for Long Fei to kill him without using the Wild God's power or the power of the Sky Code. After all, his current level was still only escalated blood stage. Roar! Another demon beast rushed forward. There were many demon beasts around, but they did not decrease because of the killing. Beside Long Fei was a pile of corpses of demon beast, the blood was flowing all over the ground, the smell of blood was drifting far away, and even more demon beast were lured over, however. The most important part was the blood on Long Fei's wound. His blood was the biggest shock to those demon beast. It was all because of his blood rushing over like crazy. Long Fei did not notice. His blood vein. This was definitely not ordinary. Kill. Long Fei let out a heavy roar, and once again charged forward. Every time he killed or dodged, every time he used his sword or made a move, Long Fei felt as if he had been through 100 battles. This definitely wasn't an experience gained from the game. It must be something else. In the real world, it was not that simple. Every time he had to dodge a danger, he had to rely on his experience and the ability to react in the face of death. This was not something that could be found in a game, but he could do it easily. When he combined the images in the dream, Long Fei suspected that he had experienced something. It was just that he had forgotten it now, and it existed in his subconscious mind. Roar! A 4-rating monster and beasts pounced forward. With a wave of its hands, it struck towards the back of Long Fei's head. The 4th stage demon beast was several times stronger than the 3rd stage demon beast. Its speed and strength were both very violent. Normal escalated blood stage warriors had no way of dodging it. However, in that instant when his life was hanging by a thread, Long Fei seemed to have predicted it. His body suddenly sank, he suddenly rolled, and jumped 3 meters away, jumping with both legs. Shua. Its body moved like lightning, the sky sword shone with a bit of strange light. Phantom sword dance. Sword chi. Swish. Dozens of sword chi shot out. With the sky sword's buff, the sword chi was exceptionally sharp. The 2 streams of sword chi instantly destroyed the stage 4 demon beast. The system sounded out a prompt. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 9th level of blood refinement. He had leveled up. Long Fei exhaled excitedly, his gaze sweeping across. Continue. You said that he went alone to hunt demon beast. An. Facing so many rank 3 demon beast, you are not the least bit inferior. They were all killed. In the distance. On a small mountain slope, several black-clothed warriors silently stood at the side. Warrior in the army. Moreover, his cultivation wasn't low. Their chests were embroidered with the word Jew. It was a member of the Jew family. The leader was a man who looked like a monk. The man laughed with interest, abandoning the demon beast in the middle of the night. Since it's not a cultivation technique, what is he trying to do? And all of the surrounding demon beast have been attracted by him. What method did this guy use to attract so many demon beast? Interesting, ha ha ha. The Confucian scholar faintly smiled and said, don't worry about him for now. Keep your distance and closely monitor him, focusing all your attention on Yi Yorong. That kid is just a waste of escalated blood stage. Yes sir. The 2 black warriors disappeared on the spot. The Confucian scholar looked at the forest in the distance. You ran to the Xianyu mountain range to hunt demon beast? Either this person has nothing to do after eating, or his brain is filled with water. What a fool. Early morning. Long Fei changed into a set of clean clothes. Yesterday, his clothes were completely stained with blood. If Yi Yorong and the others were to see it, they would definitely ask him about it, and Long Fei would be too lazy to accept it. The result from the night, 1.5 times. He still had 15% left to level up. It smells so good. The big bloke sniffed with his nose, swallowed his saliva and said, it must be the boss's barbecue. Roast meat. Thin Monkey immediately jumped up and rushed out. Xiao Dai's face was also full of excitement. I haven't eaten for a long time. Sister Yi, hurry up. If you're late, there won't be any more. Yi Yorong disdained. Is it that delicious? She wasn't hungry. With her current cultivation level, she did not need to eat anything. After a simple comb, Yi Yorong walked out of the cave. She had slept soundly last night, and had not slept so deeply for a very long time. However, she woke up once when the sky was still dark, and didn't find Long Fei outside the cave. Sister Yi, hurry up. If I'm too slow, there won't be anything left. The 2 of you, eat more slowly, leave some for the Sister Yi. Xiao Dai shouted. The big-size man and Thin Monkey could be said to be wolfing down their food like reincarnated hungry ghosts, almost swallowing their own tongue in. Long Fei tore off a piece of meat that was fragrant in all directions, and walked over to Yi Yorong's side. Eat some, replenish some strength. Yi Yorong took the meat but did not care about it. In her opinion, there was nothing in this world that could move her. With her current cultivation, she could eat anything if she wanted to, so she asked, where did you go last night? Long Fei was startled. He thought to himself, damn, could she be sleeping with her eyes open? I've always been right outside the cave. Yi Yorong said, impossible, you weren't even outside the cave this morning. Long Fei's heart relaxed, and said, didn't I say last night that I would make you breakfast? Eat quickly, it will taste worse if it gets cold. Yi Yorong looked at Long Fei, her instincts telling her that Long Fei was lying. He took a bite of the barbecue and started chewing on it slowly. Suddenly, Yi Yorong's eyes flashed with a sharp light. At that moment, her taste buds seemed to explode. With a fierce bite, he tore off a large piece of roasted meat. He began to chew. The oil was sizzling and it wasn't greasy at all. The burning fragrance was everywhere, and the meat was filled with his mouth. It gave people a sense of happiness, a very fulfilling feeling. Delicious. Yi Yorong was moved. He immediately changed into a hungry wolf without caring about his image of a lady, wolfing down his food. He directly walked to the edge of the grill, and glared at Thin Monkey and the Big Size Man. Thin Monkey and the Big Size Man immediately retreated. Yi Yorong occupied the entire grill, and started to eat ferociously. Chapter 23:31 A Big Guy. Chapter 23:31 A Big Guy. Yi Yorong was very strong. Eating was just as strong. Thin Monkey and the Big Guy were sucking on their fingers, looking at Yi Yorong through their saliva. The two of them were stunned and did not dare to take half a step forward, almost picking up the bones on the ground to gnaw on. After a rich barbecue breakfast, the five of them continued deeper into the Xianyu mountain range. The deeper one went, the denser the thistles and thorns were, the higher the cliffs and the bottomless chasms. There were dangers everywhere. Xiao Dai and the other two continued to gather spirit grass. Yi Yorong's divine sense led the way, so Long Fei was in charge of security. Noon. Yi Yorong left for a period of time by herself. When she returned, she carried a demon beast that was several hundred kilograms in weight and threw it in front of Long Fei, saying, "I want to eat barbecue." Xiao Dai also said, "I want to eat too." The Big Size Man and Thin Monkey also looked at Long Fei affectionately. Long Fei said, "Aren't you eating enough this morning? It's only been a few hours and you're already hungry?" Yi Yorong said in an overbearing manner, "Are you roasting it?" His eyes were cold and sinister. It was as if he was saying, "If you don't want to roast, I'll roast you." Long Fei said, "Baked, okay? A group of foodies. Why are all the people I meet foodie?" "Huh. The people I met. Why would I say that? I obviously haven't met anyone yet." Long Fei scratched his head. He was a little doubtful, but he didn't think much of it. The cracks in the memory seal. An hour later, the grill smelled of burning incense. Yi Yorong started to eat wildly again. Long Fei said, "It's really strange, even after eating so much, your stomach still doesn't seem to grow. Where the hell did you eat?" Yi Yorong said, "Does that matter to you?" Her current cultivation could maintain her figure no matter how much she ate. How many women don't like beauty? Even if she was Zhaoguo's #1 beauty, Yi Yorong still cared a lot about her figure. It was just that the allure of the delicious food was too strong. After eating an entire piece of thigh, Yi Yorong looked at Long Fei with satisfaction and said, "In the future, if I keep you by my side as my chef, it's not a bad choice." Long Fei said, "Do you know where the most beautiful place is?" Yi Yorong asked, "Where?" Long Fei rolled his eyes at her. "Your imagination is truly beautiful." Yi Yorong said, "Are you courting death?" Long Fei secretly clenched his fists, and said, "Sooner or later, I will surpass you, and I will fiercely suppress you under my body, and I will." Not waiting for him to finish, Yi Yorong suddenly appeared beside Long Fei. With a move of his fingers, he grabbed onto the flesh of Long Fei's arm and twisted it. "Ah!" Long Fei screamed out. It was so painful that she wanted to jump up. "I was wrong, sis, I was wrong. Is that not enough?" Yi Yorong said, "You know your wrongs." Long Fei quickly nodded his head, but in his heart, he suddenly became ruthless. "Wait, give me a little more time. This father will definitely surpass you. Let's see what you can use to crush me with." "Too embarrassing." Yi Yorong glared and said, "Wrong, hurry up and roast more meat to apologize to me. I'm not full yet." Long Fei grilled the meat bitterly again. He really regretted giving them the barbecue now. He had become their slave. Thin Monkey and the Big Size Man laughed secretly. Long Fei immediately roared, "What are you laughing at? From today onwards, the two of you are not allowed to eat the slightest bit of roasted meat. With your current cultivations, eating raw meat and drinking the blood essence of Demon Beast will make your breakthrough easier." "Huh? Boss, don't." "Boss, is that true? Will eating the raw meat and blood of Demon Beast break through faster?" The big bloke got excited. As long as he could break through quickly, he would be able to eat anything. Yi Yorong also asked curiously, "Is the reason why you have been making such a quick breakthrough all this time because you swallowed the blood essence of the great 7 rating monster and beasts?" Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei and asked curiously, really? Yi Yorong kept thinking about the secret behind Long Fei's breakthrough. No one could break through so quickly. She hadn't. Even the perverted genius of the Zhao family, Zhao Haotian, had never come. In just a few short days, he had yet to grasp the strength of an entire realm. How could he possibly achieve a breakthrough? It was too unbelievable. Long Fei was also startled. According to his memories, he should know nothing about cultivation, so how did he know that consuming the blood essence of a demon beast would help him break through faster? All of a sudden. Long Fei couldn't say it either, because he didn't know why he would say such a thing. Facing the curious eyes of Yi Yorong and his wife, and also to cover up the system, Long Fei said, "That's right, it's that colorful lizard blood essence that allowed me to quickly break through." Yi Yorong slightly said, "I was wondering why you suddenly became so fast." Thin Monkey and the big-sized guy immediately became excited, seeing that there was still half of the raw meat left. They immediately went up and swallowed it. It was a stage 4 demon beast. Although he had already been dead for over an hour, his blood essence was still hiding a rich and vigorous true essence energy. The flesh, blood and bones of demon beast contained a powerful energy. The process of their growth was much slower than humans. Forating monster and beasts would take tens of years to cultivate, and it was also because of this that the blood essence and energy in their bodies became thicker. "I feel it. I feel it too. Boss, you're really too amazing. You even found out about this sort of training method. Ha ha ha. I feel like I can now break through the escalated blood stage." Thin Monkey was excited. Long Fei was startled. He thought to himself, "Damn, I am just speaking casually. Is it that magical? But how would I know that? This is too strange." Yi Yorong stepped forward and dripped a bit of the demon beast's blood on his finger, then placed it into his mouth and sucked it up. He slowly said, "Essence blood indeed contains a rich amount of true essence. The demon beast's blood essence is not something that a human can cultivate at full time. If one is unable to endure it, there will be backlash." Long Fei coughed and said, "Did the two of you hear that? Be well controlled. Cultivate properly. There are still a few more months to the God's Sect gathering. If you want to join the God's Sect gathering, you have to give me a life or death cultivation. I'll reward whoever who breaks through to the Qi refining stage first." The golden holy body that Long Fei had gotten from the green-furred gold-ranked zombie last time was still useless. Since you want to participate in the God's Sect gathering, then you must win. The golden holy body was absolutely domineering. When the Thin Monkey and the big-size man heard that, they became excited. "We can also join the God's Sect gathering?" Long Fei said, "That depends on how good your cultivations are when it comes to it." The two of them looked as if they were on stimulants. "We will definitely do our best to cultivate." Yi Yorong's few words caused the two Thin Monkey to be extremely excited as they looked at Long Fei. The leadership of this man was just too strong. It made them want to approach him. Another day passed. Yi Yorong gently lied under a bush, pointed at a dark valley in the distance and said in a low voice, "The destination is just ahead. However, there's a big guy guarding the valley. This demon beast is very strong." In another place. "General, I found it." Chapter 2332 Cheap Shot, Heavily Injured. Chapter 2332 Cheap Shot, Heavily Injured. Just as Yi Yorong and the rest stopped, so did the Jew family. Moreover, the people of the Jew family also discovered that there was a big fellow in the valley. Great 7 rating monster and beasts. It might even be more than that. "General, what do we do now?" The monk laughed lightly. "There's no rush, let's see how Yi Yorong will handle this. I have always been curious about her true cultivation, Elixir S and Peak Realm. I don't believe it. Let her lead the way, we'll wait and see. In addition, send people to keep an eye out. I don't want our operation to be exposed," the monk ordered. The Jew family mission this time was extremely confidential. It was not to hide it from the Xianyu sect, but from the Zhao family. "Yes, sir." A few Black Warrior disappeared from where they were. Their cultivation was not weak, and their qi was concealed because of the clothes they were wearing. Otherwise, with Yi Yorong's spiritual sense, they would have definitely been discovered. "There's a big guy. How old?" Long Fei was suddenly a little excited. What did it mean to be big? A boss-level demon beast, why don't you just kill it? Moreover, he still had a little bit of experience left before he could break through to the chi refining stage. It would be great if he could use this boss to level up. Yi Yorong lowered his voice and said, above the Great 7 rating monster and beasts, I have to wait until I see the specific rank of the demon beast before I can be sure. But it should at least be at the 7th level. How strange. This place has already been here before, why would there be a big demon beast guarding this place? Could it be? Yi Yorong locked his eyebrows and did not continue speaking. Long Fei did not bother about him either. His mind was only filled with the boss, it was all berserk. As for what her quest was, Long Fei had tossed it to the back of his mind. He was someone who would not be able to move at all when he saw a boss. It was even more exciting than meeting a beautiful woman. Just as Yi Yorong was still thinking of a way to deal with the situation, Xiao Dai walked over and said softly, Sister Yi, what's wrong? Yi Yorong said, there is a big guy guarding the valley in front, and there are a lot of high-level demon beast around. Thin Monkey stood up. Yi Yorong immediately said, don't stand up, squat down. Thin Monkey pointed at Long Fei, who had already jumped into the forest, and said, about that, boss is already gone. Heh. Yi Yorong looked to her side, but Long Fei was already gone. She was stunned for a moment. Crap. Immediately. Yi Yorong immediately said, Xiao Dai, the three of you wait here, I will bring him back. She was too engrossed in her thoughts just now, so she didn't pay attention to Long Fei for a moment. He already said that there was a big guy in front, yet Long Fei still charged forward? Isn't this courting death? The Great 7 rating monster and beasts S were hard to deal with even if it were the Golden Protector level's powerhouse S. Moreover, the person inside could possibly exceed level 7. Once he reached rank 8, or even rank 9, even she might not be able to deal with it. Other than that, there were many level 4, 5, and even level 6 demon beast lurking outside the valley. These demon beasts alone were enough to fend off an army. It was no different from courting death. Before he finished speaking, Yi Yorong's body leaped, and like a dragonfly touching the water lightly, he quickly caught up. Boss, I'm coming. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed. His aura also quickly spread out. At this moment, the entire valley shook violently. It was like a mountain was moving. It was also at this moment. The demon beast that was lurking outside the valley suddenly opened their eyes. A roar. A demon beast-like creature suddenly rushed out and landed in front of Long Fei. A savage aura emanated from his entire body. Two eyes were locked onto Long Fei. Long Fei also quickly stopped, his eyebrows tightened. 5-level monster. Woo woo woo. Roar. His throat released waves after waves of roars, his body sank down, and suddenly pounced towards Long Fei, producing waves after waves of wind sound. Extreme speed. Long Fei immediately took out his sky sword. The blade glowed with a strange light. At the 3rd level, he did not place the 4-rating monster and beasts in his eyes, but he did not dare to lower his guard. It had greatly exceeded the limits of his realm and he could only rely on the strength of the sky sword. Shua. The demon beast pounced over, causing Long Fei's eyebrows to tighten, his feet moving in the air. Instead of retreating, he advanced, and with a move of the strange light on the sky sword, Long Fei was completely guided by the sky sword. A sword stabbed out. A woo. Long Fei slashed across the demon beast's abdomen, and the sky sword drew a large hole on the demon beast's abdomen. Fresh blood gushed out and his internal organs flowed all over the ground. The demon beast was crazily eating its internal organs as if it wanted to swallow them up. The sky sword's power is too sharp. Although the previous move did not have any sword moves, the sky sword had brought him to a perfect conclusion when it came to controlling it with the sword. Instantly, he found the demon beast's weakness. A sword to cut open the stomach. While he's sick, I want his life. Long Fei will not let go of any chance, even if the demon beast is about to die. He will not let it go. He quickly rushed forward and continuously struck a few times. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 5-level monster for obtaining 50,000 experience, True Chi x6000, Arrogant God Energy Value x2. Ha ha ha. The experience of 5-level monster is great. If I had this kind of experience, wouldn't leveling up be like flying? Was excited. Level 3 4-rating monster and beasts only had a few thousand points, but a 5-level monster was equivalent to 50,000 points. More than 10 times. It just didn't explode. Long Fei muttered, and said unhappily. At this moment, in the forest, Yi Yorong rushed out, immediately shouting out, "Be careful." Long Fei was startled. He looked at the ground, only to see the shadow of a huge fellow slowly rising up behind him, like a huge mountain. Long Fei's heart sank. Crap. It's over. At this moment, no matter how fast he reacted, it was too late. His mind tightened. All of his power was protecting his heart meridian. Bam! A series of sonic booms sounded in the air, and a palm attack was launched towards Yi Shiwen. Long Fei clenched his teeth. Yi Yorong had also raised his speed to its limit, but her distance was too far, she simply did not have time. Looking at the monster behind Long Fei, her heart shrank in anxiety and she was extremely worried. The Xianyu underworld wheel was also instantly summoned. Boom! With a palm strike landing on Long Fei's body, Long Fei's entire body shot out explosively in a straight line, hitting the waist of a towering tree, breaking it in half. Long Fei exploded out again. After colliding with the huge tree, the tree snapped again. Bang, bang, bang. A series of explosions sounded out. A total of 6 towering trees burst apart. Long Fei crashed into a thick piece of rock and stopped himself from exploding onto the ground. All over his body were wounds. Blood gushed out. His heart meridian had been protected, but Long Fei's expression sank. My fresh blood. This is bad. Chapter 2333 Monster Army. Chapter 2333 Monster Army Blood. Long Fei's blood essence. A drop of his blood could make any demon beast within several kilometers excited. Now, his entire body was covered in wounds. The wounds did not stop bleeding, and large amounts of blood flowed out from them. What did this mean? This meant that all the demon beast within 10 or even hundreds of kilometers would be excited and rush here crazily. He did not know why his blood could have such a function, and he did not have the time to think about what exactly was in his blood. His head was trembling non-stop and his entire body was shaking uncontrollably. Intense pain. The bones were broken. Looking at his own health point, Long Fei cursed in his heart, fuck. He only had 30 health point left. If that guy's strength had increased even further, then he would already be a dead man. However, with the system, as long as there was a little bit of health point, Long Fei did not need to worry. He took out a handful of the life bestowal pellets that he had refined and put them into his mouth. Catcher, catcher, catcher. Gudong. Dozens of pills being consumed at the same time was something that Long Fei would never do if someone else was taking them all at once. The pill's spirit energy was too great, he would not be able to endure if he took too many of them all at once. Moreover, who would have thought that he was so rich? It was as if he didn't need any money to eat the pill as food. Health point plus 100 health point plus 100 health point plus 100. After half a minute, half of his health point had recovered, and the pain on Long Fei's body had lessened by quite a bit. If I don't kill you, I am not called Long Fei. Bam! Halfway out, Long Fei quickly dashed forward. At this time, all of the demon beast outside the valley were awakened by Long Fei's fresh blood. Their dark green eyes turned blood red, and not only that, all of the demon beast within 10 kilometers of Long Fei rushed over. Outside the valley, the sounds of demon beast's footsteps kept ringing. Rumble, rumble. For a time, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. Their surroundings turned into a battlefield of demon beast. Yi Yorong kept releasing her divine sense. Hearing that many demon beasts were around, her expression secretly changed, and her heart relaxed a little when she saw Long Fei rushing over full of energy. Without waiting for Long Fei to rush towards the demon beast, she immediately blocked him and said, "We cannot stay here any longer, let's go." What the heck? Ambushing Laozi, if we don't kill him, Laozi won't be happy. He was almost killed. How could Long Fei feel good about it? Moreover, The guy in front of him was at least level 6 demon beast. 5-level monster had 50,000 experience points, then wouldn't that mean that they had more than 100,000 experience points at level 6? It might even drop something. How could he leave? Long Fei would never leave. However, without waiting for him to rush up, Yi Yorong's figure moved, grabbing onto Long Fei's abdomen. He leaped up and flew 10 meters away. Yi Yorong said, "All of the surrounding demon beast have awoken. If we continue to fight, we will all die here. Even if you aren't thinking for yourself, you should at least think for Xiao Dai and the others, right?" Long Fei's heart trembled. Yi Yorong consecutively leaped. In a few breaths, he had already traveled several hundred meters away, but it was just that. She was getting closer and closer to his forehead. Logically speaking, he should be able to jump out of the sensed range of those demon beast, but those demon beast did not seem to be disoriented at all. They were all not far behind him. Yi Yorong didn't know. However, Long Fei knew clearly in his heart that it was because of his blood essence. Immediately, Long Fei said, "Let's go our way, you go to Sister Xiao Dai's side, I'll go this way." Yi Yorong was a little worried. Long Fei replied, "Don't worry, I won't take Sister Xiao Dai's life as a joke, I won't take brother's life as a joke." Yi Yorong looked at Long Fei, but at this moment, she wanted to ask, "Then what about me?" He just didn't ask. However, Long Fei looked at her and gently smiled, then said, "Even more so, you won't take my woman's life as a joke." Finished. Long Fei was afraid that Yi Yorong would pinch his arm again, hence he quickly leaped and sprinted forward. Yi Yorong controlled himself, but he still could not help but reveal a sweet smile, turned around and quickly charged out. Long Fei roared out, "Grandsons, all of you are here to chase Grandpa." He squeezed out a wound and blood gushed out once more. Immediately, the demon beast's eyes lit up with a red light. Each of them were like monsters in a state of blood anger, rushing straight at Long Fei like crazy, as though they did not care about their lives. Long Fei's heart tensed up. What exactly is my blood hiding? I have to appraise it when I get the chance. He didn't understand. Why did his blood make the demon beast so excited? It was like eating Viagra. It doesn't make sense. Boom, boom, boom. A large group of demon beast rushed towards Long Fei. The demon beast that were chasing after Yi Yorong could be said to only have a few third-stage demon beast, while hundreds of high-stage demon beast were chasing after Long Fei. Yi Yorong also frowned. Crap. At this time, Xiao Dai and the others also ran over, and asked, "Sister Yi, what happened? Where's Along? Why didn't he come back with you?" Yi Yorong clenched his fists tightly and said, "Don't leave. Shua." Yi Yorong jumped into the forest once again and said anxiously, "Don't let anything happen to you, don't let anything happen to you." She didn't know why all the demon beast had chased after Long Fei, but she was secretly moved in her heart, because she felt that Long Fei was protecting her. Women. Especially a strong woman like Yi Yorong, she was especially touched. But she wouldn't show it. Hearing the demon beast roaring not far away, Yi Yorong started to worry even more. However, she didn't expect that. Long Fei ran for a few kilometers and arrived at an empty area. He stopped running and looked at the demon beast that were rushing over after taking the aphrodisiac. Long Fei became excited and said, "These demon beast can at least let me level up 2 levels. F***CK. He's a madman." The reason why they separated was not to protect Yi Yorong. It was because he wanted to level up. Where can we find these high-leveled demon beast? Long Fei really wanted to level up and break through too much. Now that he had lured these demon beast to the side, he no longer had to worry about the safety of Yi Yorong and the others. Long Fei held onto the sky sword tightly and said, "Brother, I'll have to rely on you." Let alone 5-level monster, even 4-rating monster and beasts would find it hard to deal with escalated blood stage S. With the sky sword here, Long Fei was not afraid. This rusted sword could create miracles. Boom. Boom. One by one, the demon beast descended and surrounded Long Fei. They all had ferocious expressions, as if they wanted to swallow Long Fei whole. In that instant, roar! A demon beast let out a roar and pounced forward first. In that instant, Long Fei's gaze tensed up, the sky sword moved, and quickly charged, phantom sword dance. The sword chi moved. The sky sword shone with a strange light. One sword and one slay. It directly killed the demon beast. However, in this instant, the demon beast on Long Fei's left and right rushed forward, and fiercely crashed into Long Fei's body. Blood spurted out. Chapter 2334, Great Techniques, Absorbing Skill. Chapter 2334, Great Techniques, Absorbing Skill. Both were demon beast in a berserk state. Long Fei was heavily injured. After killing a demon beast, he himself was also sent flying. A mouthful of blood spurted out, however. He had no intention of stopping. He crawled up from the ground, grabbed a handful of medicinal pills and gulped them down. His health point had recovered quite a bit. Fortunately, I have refined quite a few pills. Otherwise, I would really have died here. Again, he dashed out once more. Phantom sword dance, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk. It was another few slashes, and every time, he would release his full strength. Moreover, no matter if Long Fei was fighting or killing demon beast, he had a special characteristic, which was that if he locked onto one, he would beat it to death. It wouldn't stop until one of them was dead. Ding! The system sounded out. Long Fei didn't care and rushed forward again. After a few rounds, 7 or 8 demon beasts died. Long Fei was also seriously injured, one of their ribs was broken, and 2 more bloody holes appeared on his shoulder. The demon beast that was even further away was still rushing over. The number of demon beast did not decrease at all. Hoo 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 hoo. Hoo 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 hoo. Long Fei panted heavily, looked at the surrounding demon beast, holding the sky sword tightly in his hand, he muttered, more or less. Buzz. Suddenly, the sky sword let out a hum. Huff. Long Fei was breathing, and the sky sword seemed to be breathing as well. The long sword fell. Long Fei's expression turned sinister, he moved as fast as lightning, his gaze sweeping across the entire area. All of you will die. There were too many of them. Furthermore, it was still increasing, and Long Fei was unable to hold on. However, he had been waiting this entire time. When the demon beast were the most concentrated, because he wanted the enlargement stroke, sky code, shadow shifter, phantom images stacked together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Countless figures stretched out from Long Fei's body. His figure was like a stream of light, constantly moving and shuttling through the group of demon beast. Those demon beast could not react in time either. It was also at this time. Long Fei's true chi value crazily decreased. The use of Sky Sword consumed too much of the true chi and mental energy. It was fortunate that Long Fei had swallowed the zombie core, allowing him to wield the endless true chi. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to withstand this move. Bring it on. Explode for me. Shua. The illusions moved and unceasingly returned to Long Fei's body. From the time they appeared to their return, it had only been a few seconds, and those demon beast could not react at all. This was a sword technique from the Sky Sword. It was also the power of the first stage of the Sky Sword. The third strongest sword in the universal large world, his strength. It was hard to imagine. When the last afterimage returned to Long Fei's body, Long Fei's forehead twitched. Hualala. 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 In an instant, the entire arena was drenched in blood, and those demon beasts all fell onto the ground in a flash, several fatal sword wounds appearing on their bodies. Hundreds of demon beast fell to the ground in an instant. The forating monster and beasts was also good. Level 5 was good too. Even the level 6 demon beast was instantly destroyed. The scene was like a bloody hell. It was a complete mess. At the same time, Long Fei was also feeling extremely good, because at this moment, it was as if his eardrums were about to explode, and the system beeps were crazily blowing up. Ding, 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 ding. His experience points was going wild. The value of the true chi was also quickly increasing. His arrogant god energy value also reached its maximum capacity of 100 points at this moment. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently level, Qi refining level 1, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Qi refining level 2, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. The reward item absorbing skill plus 10, do you wish to cultivate it? As soon as he finished, Long Fei was stunned, he did not know how to react. What is it? Absorbing skill? The ultimate move of tribulation? Holy sh asterisk T. System, you are awesome, F asterisk CK. Long Fei was so excited that he was at a loss for words. This was a hero skill in a game. It was a high-leveled skill. He released a powerful skill that locked onto a person, causing an extremely strong amount of damage. Moreover, as long as he killed someone with a powerful technique, he would be able to increase his attack power. This was the most perverted part of a high-leveled skill. Once used well, the attack would frantically overlay each other, becoming more and more ferocious. Absorbing skill plus 10? What is plus 10? Long Fei was suspicious, he could not wait any longer and immediately replied, cultivate. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for training absorbing skill plus 10. Skill path, absorbing skill plus 10 rank, Heaven stage level 9 consumption, 10,000 true Chi-S cooldown, 12 hours. Description, upon using this skill, you will receive 10 damage. Description 2, every strike and kill can swallow up 10% of one's cultivation, and the cultivation will be converted into experience. Ha ha ha. It's going to be released this time. He's definitely going to be sent out. Furthermore, he was even able to transform the opponent's cultivation into experience when he kills them. This is too awesome. If I were to kill a powerhouse with Zhenwu realm, other than obtaining his own experience, I would also be able to gain 10% of his experience from the transformation. Long Fei was boiling. Awesome. Having risen 2 levels in a row, he had also acquired a major move. The charm of the system was to show off. After Long Fei leveled up, the injuries on his body had completely recovered. His wounds healed and his blood stopped flowing out. In that moment, the demon beast that had rushed over lost Long Fei's presence and did not rush over again. At this time, Yi Yurong stood there dumbly, she had seen everything just now. That sword. She couldn't even understand a godlike existence. Was this a sword skill that a escalated blood stage cultivator could unleash? A sword with hundreds of slays. Yi Yurong's mind felt a little numb. She simply couldn't do it, completely impossible. Looking at the excited Long Fei who had a silly smile on his face, she asked herself in her heart, what kind of person is he really? Not only did killing so many demon beasts in an instant, his own aura also mutated, changing from escalated blood stage to Qi refining, which also meant that he broke through in that instant. He couldn't figure it out, but he couldn't understand it. Yi Yurong walked forward woodenly, and said, You, how did you do it just now? In the beginning, Long Fei did not notice Yi Yurong, but looking at her shocked expression, he guessed that she had seen it. He's so handsome, isn't he? Actually, Long Fei himself never thought that the power of the Sky Code would actually exceed his expectations. Yi Yurong muttered, Handsome, you, can you teach me? She longed to become strong. It was a desire that was stronger than anyone else's. Last time when she fought with Zhao Wuji, she couldn't even take a single blow. If she had cultivated this technique of Long Fei's, maybe. Yi Yurong looked at Long Fei with blazing eyes. Long Fei said, Do you want to learn? Yi Yurong nodded. Long Fei said, Agree to one condition of mine. Yi Yurong said, Go ahead. Long Fei said, Be my girlfriend. Yi Yurong frowned. Long Fei felt that she was about to go berserk, and immediately said, I am just. Not waiting for him to finish. However, to Yi Yurong's surprise, he replied, All right. Long Fei was stunned. Without waiting for him to think any further, from another place, a cry for help came from Xiao Dai, a long, Thank you for your support. Chapter 2335, Who's the trash now? Chapter 2335, Who's the trash now? With no time to think, Long Fei jumped into the forest. Like a vigorous and angry leopard, he quickly rushed out. Yi Yorong was a little taken aback. Her face flushed red where she was, and her heartbeat sped up. It was something she had agreed to just now, but when she thought about what she had just said, she couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Yi Yorong, oh Yi Yorong, are you in heat? He really wanted to become stronger and cultivate Long Fei's sword moves. Or, she was in love. However, Long Fei always had a very special aura that attracted her. That feeling of mysteriousness, that feeling of unfathomable power, and that feeling of security that was at all times filled to the brim, was able to captivate any woman. Seeing Long Fei rushing into the forest, Yi Yorong also quickly reacted. He spread out his spiritual sense and his heart faintly trembled. It's not a demon beast. Someone is following us. Yi Yorong's expression changed as he increased his speed. Shout louder, maybe they didn't hear you. A black warrior with a blade on his neck. Xiao Dai never let out a single scream from the beginning. Because she didn't want Long Fei to worry about her. Thin Monkey and the big-sized guy's faces and nose were bruised and swollen. Shout. Black warrior roared. Thin Monkey said solemnly, when boss comes back, he will definitely take your life. Black warrior laughed coldly. Oh? Is that so? A waste of escalated blood stage could actually take a person's life. I'm really looking forward to it. Xiao Dai asked, who are you? The black warrior said, who we are is not important. What's important is why did you drag it out and not enter the valley? What are you doing? Xiao Dai said, how do you know we are going to enter the valley? Who exactly are you? Black warrior said, don't ask so much, hurry up and call Yi Yorong back. Otherwise. While speaking, the man's face revealed an evil lewd smile, and sized Xiao Dai's body up, the lewd smile growing even wider. The big guy shouted, if you dare touch big sis, I'll fight you to the death. Fight your mother. Bam! The punch landed, and the big guy was knocked onto the ground. He didn't wait for him to get up, he just stepped on him and pushed him into the mud. A piece of trash like you wants to fight me? You overestimate yourself. One of the black warriors stepped on the big guy tightly, his face had a disdainful sneer on it. In their eyes, the big guy, Thin Monkey was just a piece of trash. Big Buster and the others were too low-leveled. There was no room for resistance at all. In here, the cultivation of these black warriors and their killing intent and decisiveness were all overwhelming them. Let go. Let him go. The Thin Monkey roared. However, in the next second, like the big size man, he was also stepped on by another black warrior. Big brother, it would be better to kill these two pieces of trash. They are of no use at all. Exactly. Trash like this is a waste of the resources in this world. If it were me, I would have committed suicide long ago. With this body, with such low-level talent and potential, what am I going to cultivate? Trash. The two black-clothed men said that the Thin Monkey and the big-size man were worthless. Hearing Zhong Shen's words, the duo clenched their fists tightly and gritted their teeth so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. Indeed. With their inherent skills, their potential were all very ordinary. If not for Long Fei, they wouldn't have been able to enter the Xian Yu sect. However, they want to be strong. He wanted to be as strong as Long Fei, so that he could follow beside Long Fei at all times. But no matter how hard they trained, their rate of improvement was too slow. They were completely unable to keep up with the rhythm of others. This was the effect of innate talent. He hated himself for not being strong enough. Their hearts were bitter and bitter. This kind of pain was much more painful than the physical pain they were currently experiencing. Trash. You say that my brother is trash. Then what the F***K are you? In that instant, he shouted out loudly. Several black warriors slightly shivered. The sky. A warrior looked at the sky and shouted. A person in mid-air dove down with his sword. The warrior beside the big-sized guy snorted disdainfully, your brother is trash, and so is you. While they were talking, his body slightly moved, the blade in his hand moved, and an intense true chi appeared on the blade. The true chi ignited, his eyes lowered as they locked onto Long Fei who was in mid-air, and he slashed down, die. The blade chi moved. It came at him head-on. It did not have any fancy tricks, and was neat and tidy. It was just an incredibly thick blade chi slashing down. Let alone a escalated blood stage warrior, even a chi refining stage cultivator would cut such a blade into two halves. It was too sharp. It was filled with the decisiveness of a battle on the battlefield. If one could kill him with one slash, he would definitely not use the second move. The blade chi was very fierce. Long Fei did not try to dodge it. The sword chi raged. Streams of sword chi, visible to the naked eye, shot down. He just didn't submit. It was tough. Do I have to be afraid of you? The blade chi and the sword chi interweaved, and waves of explosions sounded out in the air. The black warrior's gaze tensed up. Useless thing. Can you still block this move of mine? Then I'll let you. He didn't wait for him to finish. Long Fei's figure suddenly changed. It disappeared. It suddenly disappeared like a god. In a flash. Shua. Long Fei descended, landing behind the black warrior. A thin scar appeared on the black warrior's forehead, which continued to extend outwards. Long Fei said sinisterly, "You call that trash?" Bam! Black warrior's body suddenly exploded, splitting into two. Fresh blood spurted out. The scene was incomparably savage. The eyes of the surrounding black warriors all changed. Third brother. Third brother. Damn thing actually killed our third brother. I want your life. Another black warrior moved his big blade, and his body sank. A unique killing intent burst out. His blade technique was calm and domineering. The comparison came quickly. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He looked at the thin monkey on the ground, his heart surging with killing intent. Those who touch my brother, die. Shua. He took a step forward, phantom sword dance. Without waiting for the black warrior to get close, Long Fei slashed 10 times in the air consecutively. Ha ha ha. Just this kind of sword technique? You can't even hurt me with one move. The black warrior attacked, a slash of his domineering strength slashing towards the top of Long Fei's head. Long Fei's eyes darkened, his killing intent surged, sword chi. Without waiting for his mountain-splitting knife to fall, the sword chi rushed out like a flood and crashed into the warrior's chest. The sword chi raged, madly slicing at his body. The gash on the top of his head also instantly disappeared. Bam! His body exploded, and he died. Long Fei pointed, next. Table of contents. Table of contents. In less than a minute, he had killed 2 people in succession. Moreover, it was all a head-on clash of strength, moves, and the murderous aura he was exuding. Complete victory. The remaining 3 black warriors all had gloomy expressions. Is he really a escalated blood stage? That's not right. The aura on his body is no longer escalated blood stage. He has reached the chi refining stage. Yesterday, they were still escalated blood stage, and today they broke through. The 3 black warriors communicated with each other. One of them shouted, "So what if you are in the chi refining stage? Kill all 3, all 4, we must avenge ourselves." The leader of the men in black immediately said, "Don't be rash." He immediately said, "Kid, if you dare to move again, she will die immediately." With a movement of his 2 fingers, he directly grabbed onto Xiao Dai's neck. The joints of Xiao Dai's throat made a few gurgling sounds, his breathing hastened, and his complexion couldn't help but become pale. Xiao Dai said with great difficulty, "Along, don't worry about me." Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he clenched his fists and said, "You better let him go, otherwise you will die a miserable death." "Humph. If you dare to even move, I'll break the inside of her head. Come on, let's see who's faster." Black Warrior was absolutely confident that he would succeed compared to Long Fei. Moreover, he also had absolute confidence that Long Fei wouldn't dare to make a move. Long Fei's eyes darkened, he did not move. Black Warrior laughed coldly and said, "Very arrogant. He killed 2 of my brothers in a row." Long Fei continued to stay silent. Black Warrior was a little proud, and said, "You can't be arrogant, right? Kneel down now." Long Fei was waiting. Black Warrior shouted, "I told you to kneel down and listen. If you don't kneel down now, you'll kill him immediately." As soon as he finished, he still held Xiao Dai up in the air. Xiao Dai was no longer able to breathe. Kneel. Black Warrior shouted. Long Fei bowed slightly. The three Black Warriors thought that Long Fei was going to kneel down and give in, and the two immediately walked forward. As long as Long Fei kneeled down, they would immediately attack him ruthlessly. The five of them were all together in a life-and-death situation. Although they all had different surnames, they were all as close to each other as brothers. He had to take revenge. However, they did not expect that the moment Long Fei's body slightly bowed, Long Fei fiercely roared, "Kneel before your 18 generations of clan leaders." Ding. True Chi value plus 100 points. Enough. Long Fei had been waiting for the True Chi to recover its value. He needed 10,000 True Chi points. In an instant, the True Chi's value had risen to 10,000 points. At the same time, Long Fei moved his idea, absorbing skill. Shua. Long Fei's figure disappeared. Yi Yurong rushed over, seeing that Long Fei's voice had suddenly disappeared, his eyes darkened. Long Fei, be careful of Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai was already in a strangled position. If he used even a little bit of strength, he would probably die. Long Fei was being too reckless at this time. How would he explain it to Gui Qingshan if anything happened to him? Too impulsive. Impulse. That was because Yi Yurong did not understand Long Fei. To Long Fei, Xiao Dai held an even heavier position in his heart than Yi Yurong did, because the first person he saw when he opened his eyes was Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai taught him cultivation techniques. Xiao Dai took care of him and cooked for him. Xiao Dai helped him prevent Yi Changfeng from closing the secret world. Long Fei was extremely grateful in his heart. No matter what, Long Fei would never take Xiao Dai's life as a joke. In this kind of situation, if it was the past, he definitely wouldn't do it recklessly, but now. Forbidden, profound mysteries. This was Tribulation's most powerful skill, and it also dealt 10 levels of damage. This was enough. Long Fei's figure disappeared, causing everyone to look around in shock. Where is he? Where is he? Why did it suddenly disappear? It was too strange. Suddenly gone. Then, the Black Warrior who had grabbed Xiao Dai immediately shouted, "Brat, putting on a show? Come out, or else she'll die right now." Not waiting for him to finish. A Black Shadow Warrior pointed at him and said, "Big brother, why do you have a black X on you?" Another Black Warrior also asked in shock, "What is that?" He looked at himself and could also see that there was a big black X shape on his body. He didn't feel any discomfort at all. What is this? He didn't understand either. There was no pain in his body, only a feeling of being imprisoned, but it was just a feeling, nothing special. "What are you doing?" Black Warrior disdained. Half a second later, Long Fei's figure reappeared once again. He did not look at the Black Warrior because now the man was a dead man to him. He looked at Xiao Dai and said, "Sis, close your eyes. It'll be fine in a moment." Xiao Dai did as he was told. With the black X still on his body, Black Warrior angrily shouted, "You dog, I told you to kneel down." Before he could finish his words, Long Fei coldly said one word, "Die." The black X suddenly retracted, as if 4 long swords had pierced into its body. Shua. The Black Warrior simply didn't have time to react. Zhong Xian was taken aback. In the next moment, his body was split into 4 parts. Blood spurted out from his wounds, and his eyes were widened in fury. Even in death, his eyes were still open. He didn't even know how he died. In that instant, a bright red number floated above the man's head. 100,000. Damage from 100,000 points. Instant kill. Moreover, this was no longer under the condition of plus 10 damage. At the same time, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Black Warrior for obtaining 180,000 experience, 1,800 True Chi points, 3 Wild God points. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining extra 10% of Black Warrior's cultivation. Would you like to convert it into experience points? This was the absorbing skill. Anyone who used it to kill will be able to absorb 10% of their cultivation, and if these cultivation were converted into experience, it would give Long Fei the experience needed to level up. Long Fei's heart was moved. Transform. Ding. System notification. Experience points plus 800,000 points. Oh. 1/10 of his cultivation is equivalent to 100,000 points experience. Awesome. This skill is too awesome. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 2nd grade refining Qi realm, with the 800,000 experience added on, Long Fei instantly broke through. Strength, defense, all these attributes had been increased by quite a bit. This feeling was simply too satisfying. However, the surrounding people were all dumbfounded. They looked dumbstruck at the 4-section body on the ground, completely stupefied, because they did not know how Black Warrior died. Even Yi Yorong was stunned. Just now, when he witnessed Long Fei's miraculous sword technique, he had killed hundreds of demon beasts in an instant. Now, Long Fei displayed another move that he had never seen before. It was an instant kill, and was extremely sharp, to the point he did not even know how the dead died. Isn't this man too fierce? Chapter 2337 I swear with my life. Chapter 2337 I swear with my life he didn't even know how he died. The remaining 2 Black Warriors' eyes were in a daze, they slowly trembled, their legs had begun to soften, in their eyes, Long Fei was not a human anymore. Gudong. Ghost, ghost, ghost. He's a ghost. The remaining 2 Black Warriors were completely insane. After 3 consecutive moves, they had killed people in an instant. Furthermore, each of their moves were sharper than the last. Especially the last move, it was extremely strange. The 2 of them seemed to have gone crazy as they escaped. However, Long Fei had said that those who touched his brother would die. Long Fei would definitely not show any mercy when killing someone, even if he wanted to escape, he would die. He quickly made his moves. Ah! Ah! 2 miserable shrieks sounded in the forest. 2 notifications sounded. His experience points had increased yet again, but the cooldown time of the absorbing skill was quite high. Otherwise, it would be too great of a waste to use it to kill people. Long Fei returned to the scene. Xiao Dai immediately stepped forward and asked, "Along, are you all right?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "It's fine, we have been targeted." "Yorong. Now you should talk about what you're looking for, right?" These people were obviously staring at them. To kill Long Fei? Impossible. It was true that some of Yi Changfeng's forces were outside the sect, but once he died, those forces of his collapsed instantly, so it was impossible for him to come to Long Fei's side. Since they weren't here to look for him, that was another reason. Yi Yorong. The task of her eating was not simple. Moreover, Yi Yorong never revealed the purpose of this mission. Xiao Dai could not help but ask, "Big sister Xiao Dai, what is your mission?" Thin Monkey and the big size man swallowed the cure pill medicine, and the 2 started meditating. Yi Yorong locked the space between his brows. Long Fei said straightforwardly, "It's fine if you don't want to say it, but I won't risk going with you. If we didn't rush there in time, they would have." Long Fei didn't care. But he could not take Xiao Dai's life as a joke. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei. Yi Yorong hesitated, before saying, "Ming Yu." "What?" Long Fei did not understand. "What is Ming Yu? I've never heard of it." Xiao Dai was also very suspicious. Yi Yorong explained, "Ming Yu is a sacred object of the Ming clan. It can absorb the energy of all the undead, and can also absorb the energy from corpses. But it is too dangerous and evil, and it has always been placed in the Xianyu mountain range. My goal this time is to get it back." Long Fei looked at Yi Yorong, and said, "For the netherworm in the Xianyu secret territory?" He didn't need to think to know. There must have been someone who had entered the 2nd floor, but they had failed and returned. It could also be that the evil creatures inside were too strong to deal with. This allowed Yi Yorong to find Ming Yu, and use it to summon, absorb, or use it for other purposes. In short, it was all for the body of the netherworm in the tomb. Yi Yorong did not speak, but nodded. Long Fei asked again, "Did anyone go down there?" Yi Yorong nodded his head again, and said, "Yes, just as you said, the monsters below are too strong." Long Fei said, I've already told you, without absolute confidence you can't go down, why don't you listen? The green-haired golden-bodied zombies on the first level were almost unable to deal with them. If they did not combine with the dark unicorn, then the monsters on the second floor would be even more powerful than they were before. This was the basic rule in the game. However, some people couldn't wait. Yi Yorong did not say anything. Although she had kept on telling Elder Ming that it was too dangerous inside, she did not stop him because Elder Ming's body was too important to the Ming clan. Once all of them were fused, he might be able to unleash the inheritance that he had obtained in the ancient world. With the return of the first-rank powerhouse of the primordial gold ranking, the Ming clan would definitely rise again. This was the goal that the Ming clan had been striving for the past 1 trillion years. The more time passed, the weaker the Ming clan became, and they couldn't wait any longer. Long Fei looked at the Black Warrior again, and asked, "Do you know who they are?" Yi Yorong said, "If they are not from the Zhu family, then they should be from the Zhao family." Long Fei was slightly relieved. "So you're saying, you already knew that the reason the Zhu and Zhao families entered the Xianyu sect was for the flesh of the netherworm?" Yi Yorong nodded his head. "They only know that there is a treasure hidden in the Xianyu sect. As for what it is, they have not found it yet. I was given to the Crown Prince by Yi Changfeng. I'm engaged." The reason the Xianyu sectess were conferred the title of Guo tribe was also because the Zhao family wanted to gradually invade and devour the Xianyu sectess. Xiao Dai was startled by what he heard. This was like a novel. Huff. Long Fei looked at Yi Yorong, and said, "Why are you here? Your clansmen should have quite a few powerhouses. Why are you here?" Clan members. It was very obvious that Long Fei had guessed that Yi Yorong was someone from the Ming clan. This was also very normal. Otherwise, the Xianyu secret territory would not have appeared here. Yi Yorong did not hide anything, and said, "Because I am a gifted soul of Underworld, and only I can control Mingyu." Gifted soul of Underworld? Long Fei was secretly shocked in his heart. Xiao Dai cried out in alarm, and said, "Sister Yi, so you really are a gifted soul of Underworld, you're just too powerful." In Yi Yorong's eyes, there was no arrogance like that of a gifted soul of Underworld, but there was instead a hint of bitterness. She would rather be an ordinary person, because her fate, her mission, her responsibility gave her too many things she couldn't do. He couldn't even marry anyone. From the moment she had awakened her Dark Phoenix blood vein, all she had left was to cultivate and become stronger. She had been like this for 20 years. However, now, she had met Long Fei. Her heart had changed. Huff. Long Fei exhaled, and asked, "Is Mingyu very important to you?" Xiao Dai immediately said, "Along, shall we help Sister Yi?" Right now, there was still a big fellow in the valley. If she entered the valley alone, she would definitely be in danger. Yi Yorong said, "I never thought that I would be targeted, and that there would be a big demon beast in the valley. The valley is very big, and I can only sense one big demon beast. Could there be other demon beast?" No one knew. Yi Yorong was the same. Yi Yorong really needed help. She looked at Long Fei and asked, "Can you help me?" Long Fei looked at her. Yi Yorong's eyes began to moisten, and he said, "Help me." Xiao Dai said, "Along, help Sister Yi." This was the first time in so many years that she had cried, "Help me, I'm going to die soon. Woo woo woo." He cried so hard that his heart almost burst out of his chest. It was as if he was going to collapse at any moment. Yi Yorong began to cry. Long Fei's heart ached. He never thought that such a strong woman like Yi Yorong would cry, and cry like a little kid. She said she was dying. Long Fei looked at her and said, "I will accompany you. No matter what happens, I will accompany you. I swear on my life." Chapter 2338 Entering the Valley. Chapter 2338 Entering the Valley. How could Long Fei let the woman he fancied die? How could he die before the quest was activated? There were still many things that he hadn't done yet, so how could he die? The most important thing was, she was Long Fei's woman. Just with this, even if the King of Hell's life and death was removed from his name, Long Fei would kill his way into the underworld and kill the King of Hell. In short, with me here, I won't let you die. However, The poison in her body had already slowly corroded her bone marrow. Even if her physique was different from ordinary people and she was a gifted soul of underworld, she still wouldn't be able to resist the poison from the limitless burning sword. Rumors. The limitless burning sword was a treasure bestowed to the Zhao family by the gods' tribe. It was Zhen Wu continent's #1 divine weapon. It was truly too powerful. It would not be easy for him to remove the poison from it. Yi Yorong wiped away her tears and said, "Really? Will you really help me?" Long Fei nodded. Yi Yorong said again, "Are you really willing to teach me that move?" Long Fei nodded again. She was facing a crying woman, and it was a very beautiful woman at that, especially her breasts. Long Fei really could not resist it. Yi Yorong stretched out her pinky. "Pull the hook." Long Fei smiled, and said, "I will definitely do as I say." Even though she said that, she still hooked her fingers around Yi Yorong's little finger, and then, "Pull the hook, hang him, don't change for 100 years. Long Fei agreed. According to the normal pattern, it should be, "Who's the dog?" But what Yi Yorong said was different. There was a flash of light. "Whoever changes will become young." Impotence. Long Fei was stupefied on the spot. Yi Yorong burst out laughing. "Hey, remember that vow you made? If you can't do it, then below you. That's for sure." Xiao Dai, Thin Monkey, and the big-sized man were also shocked. "Isn't this too treacherous?" Long Fei was instantly speechless. Yi Yorong chuckled. "I was just lying to you. The wounds on my body have already healed. Do I still need you to save me? However, I am truly a little touched if you swear it with your life." He he. "As a man, you have to keep your word. You said it before, you would help me get Mingyu." Yi Yorong snickered. Long Fei looked at her. 1 second he was crying, the next he was smiling sinisterly. This woman's face was 100 times faster than flipping a book. Xiao Dai said, "Sister Yi, aren't you being too treacherous? You scared me, and you even need Along's help. You don't need to do this, Along will definitely help you." Indeed. No matter what, Long Fei would help Yi Yorong. Xiao Dai knew clearly in his heart. Similarly, Yi Yorong was very clear about this in his heart. However, she did this to make Long Fei dislike her, and also to remind him to keep his distance. She was the Dark Phoenix, her mission, the Ming clan would not allow her to marry anyone. Also, the wound on Yi Yorong's abdomen had not recovered at all, it had sunk deep into her bone marrow, it was hard for her to break through cultivation, she did not know how much longer she could continue. She could only do this so that Long Fei wouldn't worry about her. Her face was full of smiles, but her heart was bitter. The first time he saw Yi Yorong using his perspective to look through his body and saw the wound on her abdomen, he had not paid much attention to it in the past, but now that he thought about it, it was definitely not a simple injury. Long Fei said, "Let's enter the valley." Yi Yorong immediately said, "That's right, no matter if it's the Zhu and Zhao families, we all have to move a step ahead of them, before they can react." Yi Yorong was also a little worried. Mingyu. The sacred artifact of the Ming clan. Not only that, once this thing was discovered, the Ming clan would immediately expose it. One must know that for more than 10 billion years, the powerhouse of God's tribe had been chasing after the Ming clan clansmen all the time. Once found, the consequences would be unthinkable. Yi Yorong stood up. Long Fei looked at Xiao Dai and said, "Sis, you guys hide." Xiao Dai stared blankly. She wanted to follow him, but she was afraid of implicating Long Fei, so she said, "We will stand guard at the entrance of the valley and watch out for you guys." Thin Monkey said, "Boss, don't worry. This time we'll be a bit careful." Yi Yorong took out 3 medicinal pellets and said, "This is a hidden pellet. If you take it, even the powerhouse S of the arrogant form state will not be able to sense the aura on your body." Long Fei reminded, "You must be careful, if you discover that something is wrong, immediately retreat, understand?" The 3 of them nodded their heads. Long Fei and Yi Yorong also quickly jumped out and headed towards the mountain valley. Trash. Who asked you to make the decision on your own? The monk was very angry. He didn't give the order to touch Long Fei at all. However, a black warrior said, "General, they also want Yi Yorong and the others to quickly enter the valley. They also want to help you out." Without waiting for him to finish, the Confucian scholar fiercely said, "What do they know?" The surrounding people all went silent, not daring to make a sound. The Confucian scholar's body exuded a very threatening aura. After a long time, the scholar let out a heavy breath and said, "The 5 brothers all died in the hands of a single person?" Black Warrior replied, "Yes." The Confucian scholar slightly said, "Yi Yorong's cultivation is truly not to be looked down upon. This girl is naturally blessed, her blood vein talent is exceptionally strong, so it's reasonable that the 5 of them are not her match." The Black Warrior said, "General, it wasn't Yi Yorong who attacked you, it was that youth called Long Fei. Everyone only used one move." The Confucian scholar's eyes darkened and said, "Impossible. No matter how strong the escalated blood stage is, it's impossible for it to be a match for the Qi refining stage. Furthermore, these 5 people are experienced in battle, even experts of the essence condensation realm are not a match for them. A mere escalated blood stage cannot hurt them at all." The warrior said, "There's a brother who saw it with his own eyes, that Brat's every move was different, and he even had a strange movement in his shadows. There's no such thing as before, the 5 of them were split apart, the method was extremely cruel. Someone from the Xianyu sect said that he is a person from the magic tribe, maybe he really is someone from the magic tribe." Magic tribe. The Confucian scholar shook his head and said, "The Xianyu sect cannot recruit people from the magic tribe. This brat is only a bit ruthless, but whoever kills my crow, even if you have 9 lives, you still have to die." His words were laced with a thick killing intent. All the Black Warrior he brought out were his personal guards, the Black Crow group. The 5 of them were killed. Anger boiled in the crow's heart, and its murderous intent stirred. At this moment, a Black Warrior hurriedly ran back and said, reporting to the general, "2 people have entered the valley." One of the warrior raised his eyes, "There are many big demon beasts in the valley, have they thought of a way to deal with them?" "No rush," the crow replied. "We've already located the item. All we need to do now is wait. They'll definitely come out." At the mouth of the valley, Yi Yorong lowered his voice and said, "There's a great 7 rating monster and beasts up ahead." Chapter 2339 All Bosses, Exhilarated. Chapter 2339 All Bosses, Exhilarated. Great 7 rating monster and beasts S were incomparably savage. Even Powerhouse of the Elixir realm did not dare to recklessly offend him. Yi Yorong frowned and muttered to himself, "It's just as I expected, there's more than one great demon beast in this valley. How strange. Why would there be so many demon beasts in a single valley? As the saying goes, a mountain cannot hold 2 tigers." Great 7 rating monster and beasts S were not common, and there were not many in the entire Xianyu mountain range. They were all overlords with their own territory that did not infringe on each other. If another great demon beast appeared in the territory, it would be a life and death struggle. This was unprecedented. Long Fei lowered his voice and asked, "Is there a solution to this?" Yi Yorong said in a low voice, "According to the location Elder Ming gave me, I should be in the depths of the valley. Let me think of a way. Unable to bypass it." Hearing this, Long Fei immediately became excited. He was waiting for Yi Yorong to say these words. It would be too much of a waste if he could get away with it. These great 7 rating monster and beasts were all piles of experience. Moreover, great 7 rating monster and beasts were all bosses, and each one of them had a boss aura. Then again, what cultivation did Yi Yorong have? Had always used her before, but this time, why not make full use of her? Just when Yi Yorong was thinking of a way, Long Fei suddenly rushed out and pointed at a demon beast that was covered in blood and roared, "Grandson, grandfather is here, come and bite me." Yi Yorong was stunned. "What are you trying to do?" Long Fei chuckled, and said, "In the past, you always used me, but now, can't I use you?" Yi Yorong's eyes turned cold, the chill in his eyes was oppressing, and he asked, "What did you say?" Long Fei immediately said, "Since we cannot go around it, then we can only kill our way through. Quickly, quickly, that big demon beast has already charged over, quickly help me, or else I will die." Long Fei revealed a look of fear. 7 rating monster and beasts S were extremely savage and sharp. Yi Yorong also did not dare to take Long Fei's life as a joke, and the first thing he did was to rush out and say, "You move to the side." Long Fei immediately retreated to the side, and said, "As you command, my wife." Yi Yorong rolled his eyes at him. With a wave of his right hand, the Xianyu underworld wheel was summoned. Boom, boom, boom. After a few consecutive moves, that great 7 rating monster and beasts lost its temper. Email protected, at Long Fei, who was at the side, could see everything clearly. "This woman is truly powerful, seems like I still have some distance to go." Just as the demon beast screamed in pain, Long Fei quickly went up and stabbed it with his sword. Yi Yorong bellowed, "Are you crazy?" Long Fei laughed, and said, "Old wife, you should rest now, I'll do it." Taking advantage of his illness, Long Fei liked to do things that took his life the most. Facing the great demon beast that was screaming in pain, Long Fei attacked violently. The blood on top of his head quickly drained, and then the system's notification sound rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Thorny Demon for obtaining 50,000 experience points, 49,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Thorny Demon's blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Thorny Demon Inner Pellet. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Piercing Sword. The system beeped out a series of notifications. Long Fei was secretly pleased. Ha ha ha. This sword is an Earth-rank treasure, it's sharp, small and light. If you give this sword to Sister Xiao Dai, she will definitely like it. Looking at Long Fei's secretly pleased expression, Yi Yorong said, "You're not allowed to be like this in the future, it's too dangerous for you to do this, your cultivation is still very low after all." Long Fei regained his senses, and said, "Thank you for your concern, my wife. I will take care of myself. Let's continue." Without waiting for Yi Yorong's reply, Long Fei ran out. This valley was full of great 7-rating monster and beasts, there were no demon beast below level 7. To Long Fei, this was simply a heaven for bosses. Just like when the monsters attacked, all the bosses came. This feeling, was simply one word: great. It's here, it's here. My dear wife, you're here. Rumble. Bang. With a loud noise, an incomparably large stone demon beast rushed out. It clasped its hands together and hacked towards Long Fei's head. Yi Yorong seized the opportunity and leapt into the air. The Xianyu underworld wheel erupted with a sharp power and smashed downwards. Looking at the damage numbers that floated above the stone demon beast's head, Long Fei could not help but praise, "Beautiful." At the same time, Long Fei did not run away, but continued to ridicule, "Grandson, come and hit grandpa. Pull aggro. Let the demon beast attack him as much as possible, and create an output environment for Yi Yorong." Attack after attack, after 10 minutes or so, the blood groove of the great 7-rating monster and beasts quickly bottomed up again. Long Fei seized the opportunity and the sky sword fiercely slashed at it. Boom. As its gigantic body collapsed, the system sounded out a prompt. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Rock Giant Demon for obtaining 510,000 experience points, 50,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rock Demon Essence Blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rock Demon Core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Rock Demon Fist Gloves. Ha ha ha. It exploded again. It exploded again. It feels so good. It was rare to see equipment being dropped continuously. A boss is a boss. The ones that drop are different. Long Fei had killed hundreds of demon beasts in the past few days, but not a single one of them came out, which caused him to explode twice in a row. Long Fei said, "Continue." He then ran into the depths of the valley. Yi Yorong did not stop her. She discovered that it was extremely easy to work together with Long Fei. The demon beast would not even attack her once. She only found out today that she could actually kill demon beast like this. It was too simple. Yi Yorong had a deeper understanding of Long Fei. How much does this man know? Actually, it was not because of Yi Yorong's high DPS, but because Long Fei had pulled the aggro of the demon beast well. This was one of the most basic operations in the game in his previous life. If he could not even do this, then Long Fei would just be a *T professional player. Not long later, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Coming, coming. It's too big demon beast this time. Same old rules. I'll carry it. You just need to be in charge of attacking," Long Fei reminded him. At the same time, Long Fei also wanted to experience Yi Yorong's true strength. How strong was this woman? I have to be prepared. He quickly made his move. Half an hour later. Ding, ding. The system sounded out once again. Long Fei was extremely happy in his heart. Ha ha ha. Something dropped again. This time, I'm going to post it. Chapter 2340, Great Demon Beast. Chapter 2340, Great Demon Beast 7 rating monster and beast's boss level. Naturally, the drop rate was high. Adding on the Sky Sword's luck stat, every one of them dropped a piece of equipment. To Long Fei. The more equipment the better, even if Xiao Dai and the others don't need it, he could use it to exchange for them. One must know that the things in the system merchant shop are extremely powerful. Holy artifact. These are pediatrics. There were even resurrection pills. Universal Dan. Invisibility cloak, perspective talisman, wall-piercing talisman, all sorts of strange things could be found. As long as you have enough trading points, nothing will be a problem. However, all of these were not what Long Fei wanted. What he wanted was something else, an unsealing technique. 73 divine level space ring were floating in his system's space, and these rings were hiding countless treasures, but Long Fei could only look, but couldn't take it out. Every time he leveled up, Long Fei would check if there was anything he could take out. However, other than the elixir from before, he did not take out anything else. This was too infuriating. According to his understanding, if he wanted to take out everything from these space ring, even if he were to level up to level 10,000, there was still another way to take it out. Undoing the rank restriction on the ring. As long as he could break the seal, nothing would be a problem. 73 space ring S, the treasures inside were piled into a mountain. As long as one opened up a ring in the seal, Long Fei would receive it. Kill, kill, kill. Wife, can you be a bit fiercer? You're too weak. Long Fei endured the damage. Yi Yorong's eyes darkened, he stared straight at Long Fei and said, "Try saying that I am weak. Do you believe that you can leave immediately?" Long Fei said, "Give it a try. Do you believe that I'll take my leave first?" At a time like this, Long Fei was not afraid of Yi Yorong. Moreover, he had absolute confidence that he could instantly jump out of the big demon beast's range of attack. As long as he jumped out, the big demon beast would crazily charge towards Yi Yorong. Yi Yorong said angrily, "Just you wait, when we get back to Shenyu sect, I'll take care of you." Long Fei laughed, "You want to take care of me? A normal disciple like you wants to deal with the great elder of the Pill Pavilion? You don't want to stay here anymore, right?" Yi Yorong also laughed, replying to the great elder of the Pill Pavilion. "I see how you, the great elder of the Pill Pavilion, will be able to take it when the monthly pills are not available." Long Fei did not take heart. "Don't worry, Big Brother has plenty of methods. He's here." Rumble. Long Fei's expression tensed up, he was busy boasting, and was almost overturned by the demon beast. He realized that the demon beast was becoming stronger and stronger, and was still only halfway there. How strong were the demon beast inside? I don't know. However, Long Fei was very excited. "Go, Yi Yorong, kill it." Summoning Pikachu S was normal. Being angry was one thing, but Yi Yorong immediately rushed up, as the Xianyu underworld wheel interrupted the demon beast's attack. The two of them teamed up once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 3rd grade of refining Qi. Another level up. Another land level treasure appeared in the midst of the space ring. Long Fei was ecstatic. After half a day, Long Fei and Yi Yorong finally entered the depths of the valley. To be exact, he did not see a single demon beast. Yi Yorong also felt that it was strange. The valley was abnormally calm. The sounds of birds chirping and the fragrance of flowers wafted in the air. The little creek was crystal clear and peaceful, without any kind of danger to be discerned. Yi Yorong said, "This place is like a paradise, it is too abnormal." Long Fei asked, "Did the elders in your clan not explain what kind of place this is?" Yi Yorong shook his head. "No, he just explained the location." Long Fei said, "Be careful, the more dangerous a place like this is, the more hidden it is." He didn't dare to lower his guard. The outer perimeter of the valley was incomparably savage, but once one entered the depths, it was as though they had entered a completely different world. Yi Yorong nodded his head, his consciousness continuing to spread out, carefully going forward. The two of them proceeded slowly. They continued all the way until the deepest part of the valley, where there was a huge rock cliff. Looking up, the sky above the rock looked like a sharp sword stuck in the ground, unreachable. Even flying beasts might not be able to fly up there. Cliffs on both sides. This place. There was no cave. Then where is the Ming clan holy artifact, Mingyu? Long Fei looked around and could not help but ask, "Where is the Mingyu you mentioned? There doesn't seem to be any formation seal here." Yi Yorong was also puzzled, and thought, "Could it be that I walked into the wrong place? This is the place that Elder Ming was talking about." But Mingyu was an evil, uncontrollable holy object. It could not be so peaceful where it appeared. There must be a problem. But then, Yi Yorong was unable to sense what was wrong with the place. Looking at the surroundings of the deep valley, he couldn't find any clues. Long Fei looked at the sharp walls of the cave, which was as smooth as a mirror, and muttered, "Is this cliff really so bright and clean?" Walking forward, his right hand lightly touched the floor. The moment his arm touched the cliff, a strong force directly sucked him into the cliff, and he didn't even have time to speak. He couldn't control it at all. Long Fei suddenly disappeared. Yi Yorong rushed up anxiously, looked at the cliff and shouted, "Long Fei, Long Fei." Anxiety could be seen in his eyes. And at this moment, Yi Yorong took a step forward, and his body was instantly sucked into the cliff. On the other side, the dark chaos world seemed to be quite muddle-headed and blurry. His line of sight was less than 10 meters. It was like a world of heavy smog. What is this place? Secret world? Long Fei's heart tightened, the idea moved, and spread out. It could not feel any ends, and could not sense any auras. Even if there was something in front of him, his level would not be able to sense it. Yi Yorong rushed in and shouted loudly, "Long Fei." No response. The place she and Long Fei were in was completely different. However, Yi Yorong's consciousness slightly moved and her face suddenly turned ashen. Level 8 demon beast, moreover. His body is flashing with the Ming clan's mark. These demon beast. It's all under the control of Ming Yu's evil power. This is bad. Long Fei. Yi Yorong shouted out loud, "Long Fei, be careful, these are all level 8 nether beast." Long Fei couldn't hear her at all. There was a power that completely isolated the world he was in. However, after Long Fei entered this chaotic world, he suddenly felt a stabbing pain in his left arm. It was very strange, but it had never happened before. The sting was a small place. It seemed like there was a burning sensation under his skin. Why is that? Long Fei did not think much into it, and slowly walked forward, until he saw a huge pillar. What is this? A stone pillar? That's not right. Why is there a thick layer of fur on this pillar? In that instant, Long Fei's eyes jolted and he quickly retreated. What the F***? Super demon beast. Chapter 2341, Transformers has arrived. Chapter 2341, Transformers has arrived just when Long Fei had subconsciously felt that the big pillar of hair growing in front of him was the leg of a demon beast. A deep green golden light shone down from above his head like a searchlight. Her eyes carried an extremely violent and intimidating aura as she instantly suppressed and bound Long Fei. Long Fei was also stunned on the spot. In that second, his face revealed extreme shock as he said in a low voice, "Damn. This is too big, isn't it? Just like ants and elephants." Long Fei felt that he was just an ant. Gudong. After swallowing a bit of saliva, the sky sword emitted a strange light and extinguished the pressure. Long Fei didn't even think twice as he instantly retreated. Even if he was a madman that went crazy every time he saw a boss, the super boss in front of him was completely beyond what he could handle. Fighting against it. This was a dead end. How can there be such a huge demon beast in this world? Is the world crazy? Moreover, what does it mean to have two eyes glowing with a ghostly green light? What the hell is this place? Long Fei muttered in his heart. This fellow. If he could kill it, how much experience would he have? F***ck. Long Fei, oh Long Fei, at this time, can you wake up a little? This demon beast will really die. Long Fei said to himself ruthlessly in his heart. Honestly, Long Fei really wanted to do it just once. However, right now, his fairy from heaven was cooling, the Sky Sword Sky Code was cooling, and the big move absorbing skill that he had just obtained was cooling as well. The only thing he had right now was arrogant god energy value. But what was the use? Based on his current cultivation, even if he brought out the peak of his arrogant god energy value, he still wouldn't be his match. In the game, he was only a level 1 newbie, but he had to face a level 100 boss. How could he kill it? Stop dreaming. As he sprinted, he would occasionally look back. Sigh. What a pity. What a pity. If I could have killed him, I would have been able to fly. Long Fei turned his head to see that the big fellow had not caught up to him. Furthermore, the searchlight in the air had disappeared as well. Maybe it's because I'm too small. He didn't notice me. Huff. It really is F***king dangerous. Long Fei exhaled a long breath, his mind still thinking about how to kill this super boss. Just when he was feeling happy. Rumble. 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 Explosions were heard from all directions. An incomparably loud sound rang out. Long Fei trembled. What is that sound? For a moment, he was unable to pinpoint the correct location. The only thing he could do was to hear explosions in the surroundings, just like the sound of space shattering. Boom. 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 Layer upon layer of ruptures. Suddenly, Long Fei raised his eyes, his pupils constricting as he cursed out loudly, F***ck. Just now, Long Fei had escaped the demon beast's enmity range because of him. After all, he had been rushing forward with all his might just now and had even used up all his strength. Judging by the speed, it should have at least been a few kilometers in half a minute, right? However, this fellow caught up with a single kick. How big was this body? Long Fei didn't have time to think. He immediately placed the colorful lizard shield on his body to increase his HP. At the same time, the sky sword stabbed onto the ground and with a forceful push, Long Fei quickly flew out. Rumble. The huge palm descended. The ground was covered with sand and rocks, and strong winds raged. Long Fei was barely able to dodge the kick, but he was sent tumbling to the ground by the shockwave. His entire body was covered in mud, his face was covered in dust, and he looked extremely miserable. F***ck. The rage in his heart exploded. Long Fei looked at the thick sky. Don't go too far. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish. Rumble. Another heavy stomp landed, but Long Fei was still unable to release his rage. He continuously rolled on the ground, trying his best to avoid this kick. Not waiting for him to stop. Boom. Another kick. Boom. Another kick. Boom. Another kick. The earth shook and the mountains shook. It seemed as if the ground would split open at any moment. Long Fei was completely tricked. He rolled over here, then over there. He did not even have time to stand up, his entire body rolling around on the ground. This is too much. The anger in Long Fei's heart burned hotter and hotter. However, that demon beast did not seem to have enough fun. It continued to trample down. This is bullying. Long Fei bellowed. He dodged to the side, the look in his eyes turned sinister, his eyes bloodshot, and said, "God damn it, forcing me to make a move, right?" Shua. His body spun in midair. The sword pierced into his leg that was as thick as a stone pillar, but Long Fei did not stop there. Shua. They flew up along the demon beast's thighs, climbing a few meters at a time, using the sword as a fulcrum. I'll see what you are today. Boom. Boom. Long Fei continuously climbed upwards, and after a dozen consecutive attempts, he finally reached the abdomen, and was once again astonished. This guy is too big. The shock in his heart became more and more intense. He thought that Transformers was big enough, but he didn't think that this guy would remind him even more. Just as Long Fei was feeling astonished in his heart, a burst of strong wind came from his back. Long Fei suddenly looked back and his eyes darkened. This is it. A thick whip swept over with incomparable speed, sealing off all his paths. Long Fei stood at his original position, feeling that he could do nothing. Even if he had to use all of his skills, he would not be able to do anything. I can't believe I'm going to die in a place like this. Long Fei was unwilling to give up. Both fists tightly gripped the sky sword. No matter what. Even if he knew that he would die, Long Fei would not easily give up. Bring it on. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said fiercely, Hualala. Hualala. The strong wind was ear-piercing, and strong gales were blowing. When it hit Long Fei's face, it felt like it was being cut by a knife. With his life hanging by a thread, Long Fei's heart was incomparably calm. His fighting spirit also soared, and the aura he unconsciously emitted seemed to ignite into flames. Long Fei prepared everything. But, even so, it was impossible for him to block this attack. In this split second, rumble. Another loud explosion rang out as a beast emerged from the thick armor on its body. Its body was as big as a small mountain. He immediately grabbed the demon beast's tail and let out a roar. The sound waves were like waves. It was deafening. The demon beast's tail was tightly held back, and it let out a blood-curdling screech. Awesome, my brother. Long Fei looked at the demon beast that was covered in armor. He was excited. Transformers. Chapter 2342, King Kong Powerful Fist. Chapter 2342, King Kong Powerful Fist. Suddenly, he charged out. Without any warning. Furthermore, he wanted to become stronger than the Transformers before him a month ago. The force that exploded out was suddenly compared to what it was before. Not to mention Long Fei, even a powerhouse at the peak of the elixir would be turned into meat paste in an instant by the power of that tail. This power. Too abnormal. Long Fei's eyes flashed, and he shouted excitedly, Transformers. A gorilla. To be exact, it was a perverted gorilla that had grown armor all over his body. Just because of a sudden change in the elixir that Long Fei gave him last time. Transformers looked at Long Fei and laughed excitedly. Boss, did you come to see me? Looking at you. Long Fei was stunned for a moment. Looking back at the primal chaos secret world, he couldn't help but think of what the Transformers had said the last time. Transformers said, this is the place. I never thought that there would be so many mutated demon beasts inside. Because Long Fei had entered the Transformers' sea of consciousness before. He had once used the parasitic possession to control the Transformers, so communicating with him now was simple. Long Fei was shocked. Mutated demon beast? F***CK. That's not the point. The point is, you're talking about Fairyland. How does this look like Fairyland? This place is obviously hell. Long Fei said angrily. It was a fluke to get in here. If they came to the Fairyland Transformers had mentioned, they would have already been in deep water. However, that said, the paradise beyond the smooth cliffs was indeed like a Fairyland. Anyone who saw this place would think that it was a Fairyland secret world if they knew of this secret world. However, everything was an illusion. Transformers muttered, me doesn't know, I also didn't expect it to be like this inside. Long Fei replied, let's not talk about that for now. Can you kill this guy? Nothing else was important. The important thing is to kill this super monster. First, go berserk. The Transformers said, let me try. The guys here are all very fierce, and they are all controlled by some kind of power, making them very difficult to deal with. Don't say so much. If you can make a move, then don't say it. Long Fei shouted. Transformers also followed suit. At this time, he was still tightly grabbing onto the demon beast's tail, using his strength in both of his hands. The armor on his body burst forth with bursts of light rays. Roar! The super monster let out a miserable cry. The gigantic head suddenly turned, opening its mouth wide like a bloody bowl and bit towards Transformers. Transformers immediately turned around and placed the demon beast's tail on his shoulder, pressing down fiercely. Awoo! Before he could even bite, the super monster's tail was about to break. Moreover, the gigantic body of the super great demon beast was forcibly flipped over by Transformers. This scene. Long Fei muttered, a fight between deities. The scene was too shocking. The monster movies he watched in his previous life could not be compared at all. Rumble. Super monster held up for a while, then his body heavily smashed into the ground, causing another series of painful screams. Roar. Transformers pounded his chest with both hands and released a series of roars. It sounded like he was provoking them, but it was also like he was leaking out his own strength. In this instant, shua, shua, shua. In the air, many black and thick arms shot towards the Transformers from all directions. Not long later, the Transformers' body was tied up by dozens of black ropes. All 4 limbs and abdomen. And the mucus drips down. Transformers' entire body's strength was restricted, and he continuously struggled, unable to use it. A strong sound of movement came from the ground in the distance. The entire ground was trembling. An enormous aura approached from the depths of the darkness. Long Fei looked at the black ropes and his heart tightened. Another super monster? It was also at this time. Seeing the Transformers being bound, the demon beast that was initially lying on the ground crawled back up, swung its heavy tail in the air, and forcefully smashed it down towards the top of Transformers' head. It was like a heavenly hammer. Rumble. Aoo. Bang. He heavily smashed onto the Transformers' head, causing his body to sink down. He knelt on the ground and spat out a large mouthful of blood. At the same time, Transformers was also furious. The power on his body burst out crazily, and the black ropes were also crazily curling up, tightly binding Transformers. Rumble. Another tail came crashing down. Transformers spat out another mouthful of blood. No way. This can't go on. Long Fei was anxious. The Transformers was indeed very strong, but he was a demon beast after all, and he had his own thoughts and instincts. If it was Long Fei who smashed the super monster to the ground, he would have taken advantage of his illness and quickly taken care of it. However, Transformers did not. This was the nature of demon beast. Now that he was bound, another super monster must be approaching from the darkness. If he did not remove the restraints on Transformers' body, he would definitely die. And it was the same for Long Fei. Immediately, Long Fei made a decision. The idea moved, and said secretly, "Sky Sword." Buzz. Long Fei called out. The Sky Sword immediately released a sword hum, which started to shine brightly. Long Fei leaped up heavily, jumping onto the Transformers' finger and shouted, "Send me up." He couldn't move his limbs. However, Transformers' finger could still move, and one finger was even bigger than Long Fei himself. With a flick of his finger, Long Fei leaped into the air. In that instant, the sound of wind breaking resounded through the air. A black rope wrapped around Long Fei. Like an arrow. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he said, "Kill." The sword came chopping down. Swish, 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 swish. As it fell from the Sky Sword's sword that was originally only a few jin in weight suddenly turned tens of thousands of jin in weight as it slashed down vertically. The black mucus ropes that were binding the Transformers broke apart one by one, just like cutting radishes, as they were unable to withstand the sword tip of the Sky Sword. One by one, the ropes broke apart and the dark void let out a series of screams. After half of his body recovered its freedom, Transformers' strength exploded out in tons and tons, directly pulling on the black rope on his left hand. Roar! It let out a roar. He threw it out. In the distance, an enormous figure was swept out. He heavily swung out, smashing onto another super monster's body. 2 days later, the demon beast collided with each other and quickly rolled out. While he's sick, I want his life. Long Fei was afraid that the Transformers would miss another opportunity, hence he shouted loudly. The Transformers reacted, his 4 limbs supporting the ground, suddenly shot out, landing heavily on his fist. The steel armor on his fist moved, and the fist was wrapped up by the steel armor. King Kong powerful fist. Rumble. Chapter 2343 Force of Variation, Appearance of the Demonic Eye. Chapter 2343 Force of Variation, Appearance of the Demonic Eye. A dull sound was heard. In the air, his fists were slightly pressed back. The power was like a crazy engine, spinning crazily. Immediately, an intense light of strength flashed on his fists. It was extremely ear-piercing. It struck down at the super monster, whose entire body was covered in mucus and extremely ugly. Rumble. An intense explosion. A strong light shot out in all directions. Long Fei was stunned. What the F***CK is this King Kong powerful fist? This is definitely a turtle sect's chi art. No. This is the bombardment of cannons. Awesome. Just like that, the body of super monster who was covered in tentacles exploded into pieces. It couldn't be stopped at all. With a swoosh, the long gash on the top of his head was also pushed to the bottom. A bright red damage figure floated above his head. 3500,000. Holy **T. 3 million plus damage. Long Fei's eyes flashed red light. He started to get excited. Good job, very good job, ha ha ha. It was also at this time. Long Fei's heart tightened. It's exploding, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 80,000 experience points for defeating Variant Touch God, 80,000 True Chi and 20 Arrogant God energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Spirit Void Whip. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Touch Blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Force of Variation +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 4th grade of Refining Chi. He leveled up once again. Moreover, his experience points had once again reached 60%. A demon beast leveling up just like that, this speed. It felt so good that he just didn't want it. And then, Long Fei did not immediately check the items that dropped, because there was one more important thing he needed to do, and that was to find another super monster. Transformers. Long Fei shouted. At the same time, Long Fei rushed forward quickly. As if it understood Long Fei's words, Transformers grabbed the gigantic demon beast on the ground and opened its big mouth. Long Fei used his full strength. The sword pierced super monster's tongue. A pitiful damage appeared above his head. However, it was enough to create damage. Because Long Fei only needed to create a bit of damage, once the demon beast dies, the system would silently agree that he killed it. Long Fei retreated, and said, "You can kill him now." Immediately, Transformers used more strength in both his arms and the power in his body exploded out again, directly breaking the upper and lower jaw of Super Monster. The demon beast struggled for a while before it stopped. The groove above his head was empty. The system sounded out once again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Super Monster for obtaining 680,000 experience, 50,000 True Chi points, and 10 Arrogant God energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Demon Beast Blood Essence. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Force of Variation +1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 5th grade Refining Chi realm. The level up notification rang again. Long Fei's entire body felt an indescribable comfort, but in addition, Long Fei could clearly feel the change in his power after he leveled up, which made him feel a bit more vigorous. The feeling of leveling up feels great. Right. Long Fei immediately checked the item that dropped. Soul Void Whip. Heavenly Soul Treasure. That's right. Long Fei didn't care. He had always wanted to see the Force of Variation, but they had never dropped such a thing. Item, Force of Variation attributes, mutated description. The more Force of Variation a player fused with, the stronger the mutated item will be. Description 2. The mutated beasts could be beasts, alien or robots. The level of mutation that accompanied the number of fuses a player had. Special prompt. Force of Variation can only be used once. Force of Variation? According to the information given by the system, as long as I fuse with the force of variation, I will produce a mutation. Long Fei muttered in his heart, mutated? Damn. It can even transform into a robot. This is indeed a little too abnormal. Force of variation. Long Fei muttered in his heart, I really want to see it in the system merchant shop. And then, Long Fei opened the system merchant shop, and indeed discovered the force of variation. However, to purchase a bit of force of variation S required 100,000 points. F***CK. Long Fei contemptuously said, 1 bit of force of variation requires exchange value to buy, but this daddy can only exchange for 10,000 exchange value. System, you are really too darned, aren't you? 100,000 points, this was not a small number. However, the more valuable the item was, the more it proved its worth. Beast form? Alien? Robot form? Long Fei secretly thought in his heart, this is going to be interesting, hehe. Hoo 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 hoo. Hoo 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 hoo. Transformers panted heavily. He had used up a lot of energy just now, especially his King Kong powerful fist. Transformers looked at Long Fei. If Long Fei had not cut through the rope binding his body, he probably would have died here. He felt gratitude towards Long Fei from the bottom of his heart. Long Fei recovered from his shock, looked at the Transformers and asked, how many of these demon beasts still exist here? Transformers shook his head, and said, I don't know, but these two fellows should be the lowest level of demon beast in this secret world. Heh. Long Fei was slightly shocked. Is this kind of supermonster still the lowest level of existence? How strong are the demon beast still? Transformers said, I'm not sure, but all the demon beast in there are controlled by an eye. That eye is too strong. Boss. That eye could be a treasure. There was a trace of fear in Transformers' eyes. Long Fei's eyes became tight. Eyes? What kind of eyes? Transformers replied, half-moon-shaped eyes. Mingyu. Long Fei immediately thought of what Yi Yorong had said, and in his heart, he naturally thought of something from the movies from his previous life. The demonic eye in the ring. If so, the super monster S just now were created by the demonic eye. Holy **T. Then this thing is amazing. Long Fei was secretly excited in his heart, and asked at the same time, where can I see it? Transformers said, you can see it from my shoulder, but, boss, you must not look into his eyes, or else you will be controlled. That evil power is too strong, I almost couldn't endure it. Long Fei said, send me up. Long Fei jumped onto Transformers' shoulder. Transformers stood up. Long Fei's gaze swept across and looked into the distance. Indeed. The evil strength stripe's half-moon eyes continuously flashed, shaking the cold light. Moreover, the moment Long Fei saw Ming Yu's evil eye, it shook and stared straight at Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei's brain felt like it was about to split open, and the piercing pain on his left arm became even more intense, as if something was about to burst out. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2344 Underworld Dragon, This Scoundrel. Chapter 2344 Underworld Dragon, This Scoundrel Ah. Long Fei could not bear it and screamed in pain. His entire person fell off Transformers' shoulder, and Transformers supported Long Fei up. Hiss. Long Fei sucked in a cold breath of air. His brain felt as if it had been penetrated by a stream of energy. An indescribable pain assaulted his brain, and his giant eye that was flickering with the evil light of the netherworld, revealed a sinister look. Mingyu. Or was it the demonic eye? Long Fei might not be able to say for sure, but he had never felt such an evil power before. In addition, on the back of the huge beholder was a stone door. On the stone door was carved the runes of the Ming clan. The beholder seemed to be the guardian of the stone door. Could it be? Was there an even more powerful creature behind the stone door? Long Fei simply did not have time to think about it. His body spasmed and his head buzzed until it exploded. Furthermore, the burning sensation on his left arm was even more intense. Hiss, hiss. Long Fei took a deep breath and held onto his left arm with his right hand. What the hell is going on inside my body? Transformers asked, Boss, how are you? Did you make eye contact with him? It's too dangerous, boss. The Transformers anxiously said. Seeing Long Fei's painful expression, he was even more afraid of the evil eye. In his heart, Long Fei was extremely powerful. If even he was unable to look directly at the beholder, then the beholder was truly too strong. Long Fei shook his head. I'm fine. Half an hour later, the buzzing in his head slowly disappeared, and the power of the demonic eye also dissipated. The stinging pain on his left arm also lessened. Long Fei had finally recovered. Raising his sleeve, he looked at himself somewhat scarlet, like a piece of iron that had just been lit on fire. What's going on with my arm? Long Fei couldn't understand. He actually felt pain in his arm under the Xianyu Secret Territory's main hall. However, it was very light and didn't have much of an effect. But this time, it was as if there was something under his arm. It kept tearing, as if it was about to rush out and burn red-hot iron under his skin. It was very hard. Long Fei didn't know what was going on. However, Long Fei felt that there was something under his left arm, and it was definitely related to that evil eye. He tightened his eyebrows, suddenly stood up and said, Transformers, let's go. Transformers was startled. Ah? Boss, did I hear wrongly? Tch, that evil eye can't even block it at all. If we get too close, we'll immediately be controlled. Transformers said worriedly. He was very afraid. Long Fei was afraid. He really didn't know how to defend against that kind of terrifying power, but he wanted to figure it out. From the moment he woke up, he had a feeling that his memories were broken. What were those lost memories? Why did he have all those strange dreams? Why? Would the men of Dragon Abyss Dungeon call him son? He didn't know. He really wanted to know. His left arm definitely wouldn't feel pain for no reason. There must be another reason. It might have something to do with the memory that he had lost. Long Fei had to find out. Long Fei said, You will be in charge of sending me over, I will handle the rest myself. Seeing how determined Long Fei was, Transformers nodded heavily and said, Okay, boss will accompany you. And then, Long Fei jumped onto Transformers' back, and quickly headed deeper into the darkness. In another place, Yi Yorong was also near a few super bosses. Strangely, those super bosses did not seem to see Yi Yorong. At first she thought it was strange, but then she realized. It was an aura. The aura of these super monster S is the aura of their Ming Clan S. If their auras were the same, they wouldn't be able to sense it. Yi Yorong was a gifted soul of Underworld, and the aura on her body had completely merged with the Netherworld Udumbara flower. These demon beasts were simply unable to sense her existence. After Yi Yorong understood all of this, he quickly headed deeper into the mountains, his heart worrying about Long Fei. However, as long as he could clear Ming Yu's line, this secret world would no longer have the strength to support him and would be restored to its original state. Long Fei, you have to hold on, Yi Yorong thought in her heart. As she looked at the dense evil qi in the distance, she secretly tensed up. Ming Yu, the sacred artifact of the Ming clan. Similarly, it was also one of the most evil things in the Ming clan. It used to be the eye on Pluto's forehead. Possessing the power to absorb all evils, he was known as the Beholder King. It was born from ancient times. It was Pluto who brought it out of ancient world. With the fall of Pluto, the Beholder King flew away from Pluto to become Ming Yu. From that moment on, no one in Ming clan could truly control it. Even the #1 war god of Ming clan, Ming Long, couldn't do it. Ming clan was defeated in a battle between two great gods' tribe. Some of them withdrew from the universal large world, while some others hid themselves. Ming Yu was brought to the Zhenwu continent by the branch of the Ming clan, and like the others, he could not control himself and kept him there, waiting for the person who could subdue him to appear. Gifted soul of Underworld. After countless years, the strongest gifted vein in the branch of Zhenwu continent. Yi Yorong carried the last hope of the Ming clan. Those elders of the Ming clan did not know whether or not she was able to truly control Ming Yu, and only knew that she was the only one who was able to approach Ming Yu. Closer and closer. Yi Yorong felt an even stronger evil aura. A few minutes later, she came to an altar. On the altar, there were 2 huge pillars. On the pillars, there were all kinds of strange and hideous stone carvings of nether beasts. Between the 2 pillars, there was a floating crescent moon. Mingyu. Yi Yorong looked at Mingyu, who was on the altar, and felt the surrounding strength. Unparalleled power. Yi Yorong's eyes were filled with reverence as he knelt down. Disciple Yi Yorong, the reincarnated Dark Phoenix greets Master Mingyu. Buzz. Mingyu glared at him, and countless evil rays of light enveloped Yi Yorong, as a deep voice filled with evil sounded out, the reincarnation of the Dark Phoenix? So many years have passed since I was locked in here, and this is the only netherworld phoenix blood vein that came out of Ming clan? Seems like the Ming clan is done for. Mingyu's words were filled with contempt. Gifted soul of underworld may be an extremely strong existence to ordinary people, but to Mingyu, it was not worth mentioning. It was an extremely trashy existence. Thus, he was somewhat disappointed. Yi Yorong also felt Mingyu's disappointment, and immediately said, Master Mingyu, this disciple has disappointed you, but I need your help. Mingyu said indifferently, help what? Yi Yorong said, we have discovered the tomb of the Lord Minglong, as long as we can find the Lord Minglong. Without waiting for Yi Yorong to finish speaking, Mingyu's crescent-shaped evil eyes suddenly glared, as if he was about to break free from the seal's power on the pillar. The endless evil energy of the netherworld Udumbara flower began to burst forth crazily, its strength turning into a berserk state as it rushed towards Yi Yorong. This dog thief. Chapter 2345 Mysteries of the Ming Clan. Chapter 2345 Mysteries of the Ming Clan. He suddenly flew into a rage. Uncontrollable. Furthermore, this anger was like a volcano erupting, it was extremely furious. The entire secret world began to stir up chaos. At the same time, Transformers and Long Fei were almost blown away by a strong gale of evil energy. Yi Yorong was also unable to endure it any longer, so she released her strongest power. A dark phoenix image appeared on her body, protecting her entire body. Gifted soul of underworld. It's nothing. Mingyu was furious. The power of the netherworld Udumbara flower was like a bolt of lightning, immediately crushing the netherworld phoenix phantom on Yi Yorong's body. Yi Yorong was also sent flying and smashed heavily onto the ground. Phut! Yi Yorong spat out a mouthful of blood. Had he said the wrong thing? Why was Mingyu so angry? The body of the Lord Minglong contained a powerful inheritance power. As long as it was fused together, it would be able to obtain the power of the once number 1 person on the ranking. There was hope for the rise of the Ming clan. However, why is Mingyu so angry? Yi Yorong crawled up from the ground with great difficulty, and said, if disciple has done anything wrong, please punish me. Wrong? Ha ha ha. Mingyu laughed loudly, it's more than just a mistake. All of you are guilty, and your Ming clan is just like a bunch of brainless trash. He directly insulted the entire Ming clan. And very angry, Yi Yorong clenched his fists, and said solemnly, if disciple was wrong, then I am fine with you punishing me, but why are you insulting your ancestors? Humph. Mingyu sneered, listening to the slanderous words, accidentally killing a loyal official, shouldn't you scold me? The entire Ming clan was being toyed with by one person, should I scold him? A traitor of Ming clan has been worshipped and revered by you all for generations. Should I scold you? Word for word. Every sentence was filled with rage, as if it was accompanied by a chilling killing intent. Yi Yorong did not understand at all. Although the battle between Ming clan and God's tribe had lasted for 1 trillion years, every disciple knew clearly that it was a battle of life and death. At the same time, it was also a massacre. Ming clan was massacred by the God's tribe. Mingyu laughed coldly, Ming clan, how powerful were you back then? The number 1 clan in the ancient world, the S that control the entire universal large world, the powerhouse S that are on the primordial list make up more than half of them, the Ming clan S who cultivate the legacies of the ancient Ming clan, how awe-inspiring are they? There is simply no one who can defeat such a clan. But ancient world can't stay, and universal large world can't stay either. It's like a rat crossing the street, wrong, you can't even compare to a mouse, at least mice dare to cross the street, but all of you can only hide in the dog hole. Do you know what this is all about? Yi Yurong shook his head, and said, No, I don't know. Ming Yu said, Because Ming Long, he is the traitor of Ming clan, do you think he is dead? Putting him as the Ming clan's war god and offering him up for generations, do you know that everything you have today was because of him betraying you? How laughable. Ha ha ha. How ridiculous. Ming Yu angrily laughed out loud. His laughter was filled with hatred. It should be the only one who knows the truth. Because it had personally witnessed Pluto being killed by the Netherworm and saw the Netherworm carrying the Underworld King's head to Emperor Xian. The Netherworm has fallen. It was just a deceptive act. However, Ming Yu did not expect that the descendants of the Ming clan would actually worship a sinner as a god and see him as the hope for the rise of the Ming clan. Pain. Extremely painful. No, impossible, absolutely impossible. Lord Ming Long had been fighting Powerhouse of God's tribe for 3 days and 3 nights just to cover his retreat as an ancestor. If not for Lord Ming Long, not a single one of us in Ming clan would have been able to escape from him. Moreover, someone saw him being surrounded and killed by more than 100 Powerhouse of God's tribes before he died. Bullshit. Ming Yu interrupted him angrily and said, All of this is just a play. Do you know what he wants? What he wants is the complete inheritance of the super force of Ming clan, and what he wants is the position of the King of Hell. Yi Yurong said, But. Ming Yu shouted, There is no but, and you guys found his grave. If I am not mistaken, what you found was not his grave, but the trap he set. That's not right. This trap is not for you. Suddenly, Ming Yu seemed to have thought of something, and trembled slightly. This trap was not for you, but for me. Ah, Netherworm, how sinister are you? Ming Yu roared towards the sky. The endless energy of the Netherworld Udumbara flower was wreaking havoc again. And then, Ming Yu glared with his evil eyes, staring straight at Yi Yurong who was kneeling on the ground. Get lost, get out of here, and never appear again. Yi Yurong said, Master, maybe all of this is just a misunderstanding. Lord Ming Long really wouldn't. She didn't believe it. Because he couldn't believe it. From the moment she found out about this, Dark Dragon was her idol, the war god. Not just her. The entire Ming clan viewed the Netherworm as a god. His place in the hearts of the descendants of Ming clan had actually exceeded that of Pluto, who had fallen without doing anything. Now, however, Yi Yurong could not accept that he was a traitor, the sinner of Ming clan. Scram. He did not want to argue with Yi Yurong. To be exact, he was too lazy to argue with Yi Yurong, because he also did not believe it in the past. Pluto's brother betrayed him. However, the truth was the truth. He definitely wouldn't be lying when he saw it with his own eyes. Moreover, he also believed that the Netherworm was definitely not dead. The so-called grave was definitely a trap. Yi Yurong did not give up, and said, Master, please help. I said, got out. Then, no, scram. Words. Then, die. This, in. Every word and every word was filled with a strong killing intent. On the altar. Although Ming Yu was trapped by the seal on the altar, it was too easy for his strength to kill a person. Yi Yurong's mind was almost unable to endure it any longer. His body couldn't support it either. The powerful Netherworld yin energy fiercely surged forward. Boom. The fierce wind howled, and directly swept Yi Yurong's body away from the secret world. Yi Yurong was completely unable to control himself. When she was sent out of secret world, his mind was in a mess. Her brain was a mess, she couldn't figure it out. And then, Yi Yurong's gaze tensed up. Long Fei. Long Fei was still inside. However, without waiting for Yi Yurong to rush into the secret world, a powerful force struck over, causing her to be unable to react in time, and a cold sword rested on her neck. Sister Yi. Run. Instantly. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, whoosh whoosh whoosh, several black figures descended and surrounded Yi Yurong. Black Crow walked out with a sinister smile on his face. Yi Yurong, let's wait for a long time, hand the thing over. Chapter 2346. Chapter 2346 In the Secret World. Holy *T. Has the beholder gone mad? The power of the netherworld Udumbera flower continues to erupt. Long Fei cursed in annoyance. One after another. Too damn powerful. If not for the Transformers blocking him, he would probably still be flying in the sky. Transformers said, "Boss, the altar is right in front of us." Long Fei trembled slightly, his heart tightened, and he jumped down from the Transformers' body, and said, "All right, I'll walk the road ahead myself. You can leave first." It was Long Fei who insisted on coming. If anything happened, he didn't want the Transformers to die with him. Transformers immediately said, "Boss, you saved my life. The reason I was able to break through was also because of you helping me. I won't leave." He remembered Long Fei's kindness. No matter what happened, he would carry the burden for Long Fei. From the moment he promised to come with Long Fei, he had already thought things through. Long Fei said, "No matter what happens, when I tell you to run, you must run, do not stay here, understand?" The Transformers nodded and said, "Okay." Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath and walked forward in large strides. Mingyu thought that Yi Yorong had entered once again and shouted angrily, "Are you not afraid of death?" Holy *T. Long Fei thought that he had been discovered a long time ago. Since he had been discovered, Long Fei no longer had any qualms, and directly said, "Since you have come, then I have never been afraid of death." Heh! Mingyu was startled, his evil eyes stared straight at Long Fei. "It's you." When they were looking at Long Fei, he had also noticed Long Fei, and felt that there was a special kind of power within Long Fei's body. Even if it was him, he didn't know exactly what this power was. Long Fei said, "You know me?" Mingyu sneered, and said, "Who are you, and why should I know you?" F***CK. Long Fei scolded, and said, "You're an object, all right? You're courting death." Mingyu's eyes widened, and stared straight at Long Fei. A powerful stream of power of nether rushed out and directly struck towards Long Fei, and this wave of power. Even if they couldn't kill Long Fei, they would probably cripple him. Long Fei was not a person who just sat there and waited for death. Moreover, he has a temper. Seeing a strong wave of energy approaching, he immediately took out the Sky Sword and said solemnly, "I still don't know who died." Transformers also instantly charged out as he wanted to block the attack. However, the moment Long Fei took out the Sky Sword, Mingyu's evil eyes suddenly trembled. Sky Sword? Sure. The power suddenly disappeared. There was nothing left, he had been crushed by Mingyu and disappeared. Long Fei was shocked. "You know about Sky Sword?" Mingyu's expression was somewhat agitated as she shouted, "Why is the Sky Sword in your hands?" Long Fei asked, "Why can't I have it?" Humph. Mingyu coldly snorted, "Universal World's third-ranked divine weapon, also known as the First Sword, this sword comes from Ancient World." However, Mingyu felt that it was strange. Others might not know, but he knew it very clearly. He knew it even better than the Sky Sword's previous master, Long Zhanting, because this Sky Sword also came from the Ancient World. It's a divine weapon bred by the Ancient World and ranked third on the primordial divine weapon ranking. Why would such a small plane appear in it, and why is it in the hands of someone who possesses it and is even a dregs of the refinement stage? Mingyu was secretly puzzled. Long Fei was shocked, and thought, as expected. I knew this sword was not simple. Long Fei had always known this, but he had never thought that this Sky Sword would be so sharp. It was ranked third on the primordial divine weapon ranking, and one that came from the Ancient World that gave birth to it. This sword. Too awesome. Long Fei pretended to understand Sky Sword a lot and said, "You know a lot." Mingyu said disdainfully, "This kind of sword would be a waste if it was in your hands. You don't even know how strong it is, so you can't even use 1/10,000th of its power. Kid, tell me, how did you get it?" Mingyu really wanted to know, because the divine weapons produced by the Ancient World had intelligence. This sort of divine weapon would choose its own master. If it wasn't for him choosing his own master, even if you had the strongest power, you wouldn't be able to use his full strength. The young man in front of him looked very ordinary, but Mingyu could feel that the Sky Sword was very freely in his hands. Long Fei said, There's no need for me to tell you this. However, Long Fei himself did not know either. He knew that when he woke up, the sword was by his side. As for when he had obtained the sky sword, he had no memory of it. Mingyu said, "Brat, you are very arrogant." Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Generally speaking, it is only third." Mingyu said, "Ordinary arrogant people would not be able to live past 3 seconds in front of me. This sky sword in your hands is a waste. Why not give it to me? I will let you live for a few more seconds." Long Fei's expression tightened, and said, "If you have the guts, come and take it." He instantly entered a battle-ready state. Roar. Transformers also rushed out. His armor shone with a cold light and let out waves of roars. Mingyu gave a disdainful sneer, "Just you 2 pieces of trash?" Completely contemptuous. From the start, they had never placed Long Fei and Transformers in their eyes. Long Fei said, "We are trash, what are you talking about? Trash? Or was it a trash moon? How many years had he been locked up here? Poor bastard. You're courting death." Mingyu became angry, and his eyes became sinister. The powerful netherworld Udumbara flower surged forward like a surging tide. "Boss! Hide behind me!" Transformers instantly blocked the attack. Long Fei had wanted to let the Transformers escape quickly, but she didn't expect him to jump forward. Immediately, Long Fei did not care too much. Transformers. Parasitic possession technique, open, buzz. The idea moved and directly entered Transformers' body. This was the second time. The Transformers instantly accepted it. He wanted to compete with last time, but this time, Long Fei felt that the Transformers was even stronger. However, even such a powerful strength was not even worth mentioning in front of Mingyu. Long Fei also never thought of using this kind of power to deal with him. Thus, the moment Long Fei entered the Transformers' sea of consciousness, he moved and suddenly shouted, "Wild God Energy, activate!" Boom! 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 Its power rumbled like thunder. The armor on his body radiated a powerful light. Seeing the netherworld Udumbara power that was pouncing towards him, Long Fei's body sank. Buzz! He crossed his arms in front of his chest. He didn't try to dodge the attack. Instead, he directly took it head-on. The force struck forward. Rumble! 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 The void exploded, and Long Fei's enormous body continued to retreat, almost unable to withstand the force. Even if he released the Berserk God's power, Long Fei wouldn't be able to stop it. Because Mingyu's strength was simply too strong. Right at the moment when Long Fei was about to retreat explosively, the sky sword in his hands suddenly shot out, becoming bigger and thicker. "Thank you for your support." Chapter 2347, General of Underworld, Explode. Chapter 2347, General of Underworld, Explode. The two forces clashed, and Long Fei was sent flying from the impact. Even the full release of the Raging God's power wasn't a match for Mingyu. Moreover, and it was even under the condition that Mingyu was given the seal. Not high enough. Not really. It was because Mingyu was too strong. But the moment Long Fei was sent flying, the sky sword in his hand suddenly flew out, and transformed into a thick, big sword in the air. It was as if he had transformed. Long Fei was shocked in his heart. Damn, our sky sword still going to grow bigger and stronger. Awesome. This was the first time the sky sword had transformed. Of course. It was only there to better coordinate with Long Fei. Mingyu looked at the sky sword that had grown in size, and was also slightly shocked. Primordial First Sword art is indeed worthy of its reputation. It is ranked third among the divine weapons, and was birthed by the ancient world. Awesome. Just based on his spiritual sense alone, I'm afraid he has surpassed the first and second ranks of the divine weapons. Able to follow the master's will and change the shape of the sword. The spirit of this sword was beyond imagination. However, Mingyu was not afraid, and said solemnly, "Sky sword are truly powerful, but that depends on who uses it, and if it's in your hands. You cannot use its full power." Boom. On both sides of the altar, space began to tremble and warp. In that instant, roar, roar, Two roars of ferocious beasts could be heard. "Boss, be careful." Transformers' consciousness roared out. At this moment, two super monsters rushed out from the left and right side of the room. They were even more ferocious than the previous super monsters, and they were summoned by Mingyu in an instant. Long Fei clenched his right hand, tightly holding onto the sky sword. His body slightly sank. Charge. Boom. His body instantly charged out like a cannonball. The void moved. The sword slashed down. The sky sword released a strange glow, allowing Xuan Bai's sword chi to be visible. With a sword stroke, the super monster's body was instantly split into two. Instant kill. This damage. A fierce battle. In the next moment, another demon beast rose into the air and rushed to the top of Transformers' head, smashing down from above. King Kong powerful fist. Buzz. His left arm sank. Buzz buzz buzz. Stabilized his body and brewed his strength continuously. The power on his fist flickered and burst out. Just a little more. Almost. Long Fei maintained his stability. He had to bring his strength to its peak. The moment the super monster landed, Long Fei threw out his left fist. Explode for me. Strength versus strength. A violent collision. The demon beast's head immediately split open. Transformers' left arm also went numb. His entire arm felt as if it was about to fly out. It was an incomparable pain. However, a terrifying damage floated up above the demon beast that had crashed into the ground, causing its blood to run all the way down to the bottom. Ding, ding. 2 consecutive notifications sounded. He had also obtained 2 heavenly soul treasures and 2 force of variation S. The key point was, Long Fei leveled up once again. His level had already reached the 5th grade of Qi refining. Roar! Transformers pounded his chest with both hands, releasing a burst of powerful roars. Long Fei said heavily, come again. It was incomparably sharp. One hand with Sky Sword, one hand with King Kong powerful fist. 2 moves, 2 super monsters were instantly killed. This kind of carefree feeling made Long Fei's blood boil. Mingyu was also enraged. You dare to be so arrogant in front of me? Humph. You overestimate yourself. Mingyu glared, and the netherworld powers of the entire secret world began to shrink as they frantically gathered around Mingyu's altar. After a while, they finally surrounded Long Fei. It was like a hurricane. Long Fei was in the eye of the storm. General of Underworld. Boom. Boom. Mingyu let out a loud shout, and immediately after, a ghost soldier that was over 10 meters tall, dressed in netherworld armor, and exuded a domineering and evil aura, appeared within the huge netherworld hurricane. He landed heavily in front of Transformers. Powerful. Long Fei was secretly shocked when he saw the General of Underworld, and the bloody wound on the head of the General of Underworld caused him to inwardly click his tongue. This. A health bar of a few meters square. Just how much health is that? However, the stronger you are, the more I like you. Long Fei shouted as the gigantic sky sword dragged itself on the ground, causing flames to splash out in all directions. When the General of Underworld saw Transformers rushing over, his body slightly sank as well. A charge. It left a long trail of afterimages behind it, incomparably long. This speed. It was dazzlingly fast. Moreover, in that moment, General of Underworld extended her right hand. Shua. A long dark spear appeared in the middle of the spinning netherworld hurricane and landed in the hands of the General of Underworld. Without waiting for Long Fei to charge over, the long spear thrust it out. Be careful. Transformers warned. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. Your body. Transformers said, Boss, I can take it. All right. Long Fei also did not hesitate. Seeing the spear thrusting towards him, he did not dodge, but instead used his right shoulder to block it. Shua. The dark spear had pierced through Long Fei's right shoulder. Blood spurted out. Mingyu also laughed out loud. Brat, I said you can't do it. Just as Mingyu was feeling proud, Long Fei controlled the corner of his mouth as he smiled sinisterly. Who said that I can't go on anymore? With one hand, he grabbed the dark spear. The sky sword moved. He slashed horizontally. Shua. Boom. The sword cut off the head of the General of Underworld. The huge head fell to the ground, but the General of Underworld's health did not drop to 0. Ming Yu was slightly shocked, but he was not worried, because the General of Underworld with its head cut off still had super strong fighting strength. So what if I behead him? However, is decapitating okay? What about dismembering? Long Fei leaped high into the air, grabbed onto the sky sword with both of his hands and ruthlessly slashed at the body of the General of Underworld below him. He used all of his strength. The General of Underworld's body continued to explode. Not only was the sky sword injured on the surface, its strength lay in the moment the sword slashed down, it would cut off everything in its body. Rumble, rumble, rumble. 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 The General of Underworld's body continued to explode. The gouges on top of his head continued to crack. The sword split apart the corpse. The blood on top of the General of Underworld's head immediately exploded. Long Fei's eyes stared wide, staring straight at Ming Yu who was on the sacrificial altar. He roared out loudly, "Mother f***, who else is there?" Such savageness. So what if it was Ming Yu? So what if you're a super monster? So what if it was a General of Underworld? The god of slaughter. Buddha blocking my path to kill Buddha, this is how I hang myself. Long Fei's roar, coupled with the arrogant and overbearing aura that came from Transformers' body, were extremely sharp. No one could stop them. However, the time for the arrogant god energy value was almost up. Long Fei didn't care in the slightest. As long as the General of Underworld gave him more arrogant god energy value, he could release it again. It was also at this time. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 2348, I Am Dying. Chapter 2348, I Am Dying. General of Underworld S were monsters that were so powerful, they could definitely go berserk. There would definitely be a huge explosion. He had to go all out. Long Fei's heart suddenly tightened, and he thought to himself, "Fur shrimp, bless me. I don't want anything else, I only want striking energy value. As long as I can have striking energy value, none of this will be a problem." Right now, what he lacked the most was striking energy value. The moment he had 100 points, he would be able to release the astral energy again. However, this General of Underworld was something Ming Yu had created using the power of Nether. Whether it could explode or not was a question. Bring it on. Boom. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing General of Underworld for obtaining 160,000 experience, true chi points, 200,000. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Underworld Spear. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Body Fusion, Beast, General of Underworld. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 6th grade of Chi Refining. Holy sh**. T. System, isn't your mother f*** King Deceit? What does Lousy want, if not what, is there something like yours? Just go eat shit. Long Fei was about to collapse, so it could be said that he had no choice but to take the items that the General of Underworld dropped. Underworld Spear, Divine Level, and he even dropped the War Beast General of Underworld. This fellow must be exceptionally valiant. But only Long Fei did not have the striking energy value he wanted. If this wasn't a scam, then what was? What a troll. But the system is the system, and it will not change just because of a single word from Long Fei. Even if it is your 18 generations of scammers, you still wouldn't be able to do anything. Long Fei looked up into the sky. He had a feeling that the creator of the system was somewhere watching him, and in an instant, he could give out a string of commands, changing the drop rate of every monster. It could even turn a super boss into 0 experience. Just like GM. I want you to live, I want you to die. Even in the water, he would be instantly killed. Don't let me find you. Otherwise, if I don't beat your shit out of you, it'll be considered my loss. Long Fei thought fiercely in his heart. According to his memories from his previous life, those beasts that looked like aliens and wore thick armors were all planted in his body. Or a disguised human. Long Fei didn't know. But he was sure that the game system in his body had a creator, and he felt that these creators were watching him from somewhere. Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath. I want to become stronger and transcend the control of the system. Only then will I be able to surpass the existence of the system. However, Long Fei looked at Mingyu blankly with both of his eyes as he muttered in his heart, I think it's best for me to think about how to preserve my life. Kill the general of Underworld. On the altar, Mingyu was already furious. Ding. System notification. Arrogant god energy value time is over. F***CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart as he stared at Mingyu who was on the altar. Although he no longer had any arrogant god energy value, he could still use it. Long Fei's aura did not decrease at all. Mingyu? You're just SOSO. Are you even worthy to mock me? It was insanity. Overpowered him. Mingyu's eyes were sinister. The flames of fury were burning. Transformers could clearly feel the power in his body weakening. Boss, it's not good to anger him like this, and your strength. Long Fei said, no wonder you were imprisoned in such a place. You are the only one pretending with lousy. Come. Not only did it not weaken, Long Fei became even more arrogant. Even the Transformers was a little afraid. Who was pretending? If his strength had been reduced to such a degree, how could he still be a match for Mingyu? There has never been a person who dared to be so arrogant in front of me. Even Pluto back then, even the Emperor Xian S did not dare to do so. How dare a puny human like you be so presumptuous? Do you think you are invincible just because you have Sky Sword? Do you think that you're powerful enough to kill a few of my nether demon beast? Kid, you're still far from it. As soon as he finished, Mingyu's crescent eyes fiercely glared. Rumble. Power like the sea, roar like thunder. At this moment, Mingyu's power could be considered to have truly erupted, as the entire secret world was filled with a sea of netherworld power, while Long Fei was like a small boat in the ocean. So King strong. Long Fei's heart tightened. Who would have thought that not only did he not manage to suppress Mingyu, he had actually provoked Mingyu's super anger. Moreover, what was even worse was, ding. System notification. The parasitic possession spell's time is up. Long Fei's last 2 energies had been completed. The idea moved. He went straight back to his original body. Transformers was a demon beast of the 9th step. Be it his body or his strength, both were countless times stronger than Long Fei's original body. But now, if he went back to his original body, a 6th grade chi refining martial artist could kill him 100,000 times in an instant, much less the netherworld great wave. F***CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart, it's truly raining at night, I really want to die. Transformers immediately felt Long Fei leaving his body, his expression also shook, as he exclaimed in his heart, this is bad. Boss, you're saying. It's almost time, and he's still acting so arrogantly. This time, it's good enough. This fellow must be infuriated. Sigh. Transformers felt a boundless sea of power. He protected Long Fei behind him and said, Boss, I will endure all of these attacks. You must find a chance to escape. Flee. Humph. Mingyu was enraged, and said, all of you must die. Boom. A roar of rage rang out. The sea of netherworld Udumbra flowers started to move. Boundless lightning appeared on their bodies and wreaked havoc. In an instant. Boom. A huge wave of energy swirled up. Transformers bit the bullet and roared loudly, using all of his strength to block in front of Long Fei. Rumble. Long Fei's heart sank, he clenched his sky sword tightly and sent it flying with a sword strike. However, 6th grade chi refining. Too weak, too weak. This level of power was completely useless in this situation. Transformers blocked it instantly. Boom. Transformers let out a furious roar as his body was instantly thrown to the ground. He tried to push himself up with his arms, but before he could get up, a huge wave of energy smashed down. Rumble. He once again lay flat on the ground, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. It couldn't be duped. Their strength was not on the same level at all. It was too hard to bear. Boss, quick, quick, run. Rumble. Transformers was directly knocked unconscious. Mingyu stared at Long Fei coldly, and said, run? I want to see where I can run to. Long Fei's eyes darkened, his right hand clenched tightly as he said, Long Fei's dictionary does not have the word run. With a heavy leap, he flew towards the altar. Humph. You overestimate yourself. Mingyu let out a cold laugh. The Netherworld Udumbara flower surged to a height of 10 meters as the Netherworld Udumbara flower smashed down heavily. Kid. Die. Chapter 2349 Sky Sword, Spirits of the 10,000 Sword. Chapter 2349 Sky Sword, Spirits of the 10,000 Sword. From all directions, the tide of power. Each wave of energy was like a huge tentacle. Without waiting for Long Fei to rush up the altar. Rumble. 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 From all directions, howls and explosions could be heard. That scene. It was impossible to put into words. Long Fei was instantly engulfed by the wild tide of energy. Moreover, all the bones in his body seemed to have shattered at that instant. Then, his consciousness disappeared. In the end, when his mind became clear, he muttered in his heart, I'm going to die. I'm sorry. Thinking about Long Zhanting in the Dragon Abyss dungeon. Looking at the dozen or so chains piercing Long Zhanting's body and how Long Wutian ravaged Long Zhanting crazily, although it was only a dream, Long Fei couldn't help but feel very uncomfortable in his heart. He wanted to save Long Zhanting. But now, he couldn't save anyone. He was going to die. Along the way, although it had only been a few short months, Long Fei did not regret it at all. 18 years later, I will be a good man again, Long Fei roared in his heart. And then, he was completely unconscious. Dead, alive. Long Fei was no longer able to control it. Arrogant in front of me? What are you? Mingyu was furious. He was born in the ancient world, even earlier than him in this world. Even the King of Hell would have to respect him when seeing him. Even the current master of the universal world, the Emperor Xian, would not dare to act arrogantly towards him upon seeing him. A small human. A human who was only in the qi refining stage. What is it? Arrogant in front of him? Could Mingyu hold it in? No. As he watched Long Fei being engulfed by the surging energy from all directions, he coldly disdained, you overestimate yourself. It was extremely disdainful. However, and it was also at this moment that Mingyu's eyes turned sinister. Because, under the waves of power, a strange light burst out and flickered. At this moment, boom, a sky-piercing power suddenly shot out. Wang, the sword hummed. It was extremely ear-piercing, and even Mingyu had a painful expression on his face. The surrounding ocean of netherworld energy was also instantly crushed down, and the secret world became quiet. Long Fei fell onto the ground, his face pale white, as if he had died without any expression. Mingyu trembled slightly, and said, Sky Sword, you follow him because he has no future. You are the first sword of primordial times, and you are the spirit of the 10,000 swords. You were born from ancient times, why would you follow a trash like him? Without waiting for Mingyu to finish. Suddenly, a ray of light shot out from the sky sword floating in the air. The light came out of the sky sword and transformed into a humanoid female, just like a fairy in a painting. Otherwise, there would be no life on Earth. The aura of a myriad sword spirit emanated from his entire body. Without waiting for Mingyu to finish, he immediately interrupted him and said furiously, try saying that trash again. Do you believe that I won't cut you into two? Anger. Sword spirit's fury. Moreover, in the instant that the sword spirit got angry, buzzing sound could be heard. The entire secret world, and even the entire Xianyu mountain range, released a series of sword hums, as though they were completely out of their control. In the valley, the swords of the Black Crow warrior began to tremble. It looked like it was about to fly out of the scabbard. Not only that, even the entire rock wall began to tremble intensely. It was as if the end of the world had come for this mountain of swords. Its power. This was too crazy. General. The Black Crow warrior looked at the Black Crow quickly. The expression on the crow was also ferocious, sword intent. He had never seen such a strong sword intent. Just who could it be? Or whose treasure? And then, the crow glared at Yi Yorong and asked, "Did you really not get it?" Yi Yorong was also shocked in her heart. She had seen Long Fei use the Sky Code before, but that kind of sword intent was completely different from the current one. Right now, the sword intent felt as if it was looking down on the heavens and the earth. Moreover, any sword intent would be useless in front of it. Has Long Fei become strong again? Is this the sword intent he was emitting? Yi Yorong looked at the raven and said, "If you have the guts, go in and get them." The crow snorted. "What exactly is inside?" Yi Yorong said, "You'll know once you get in." Xianyu Sect, Artifact Forging Pavilion. This included all the disciples who were using the swords. All of them were faintly trembling. The long sword at Yu Wanshan's waist could not be controlled. As he looked towards the direction of the Xianyu mountain range, what actually happened? Gui Qingshan also had a face full of astonishment. Too powerful sword intent. The Xianyu sect was in chaos. The sword intent was too strong. In the secret world, Ming Yu's eyes turned sinister. He was also a little afraid. He could easily crush Long Fei, but he could not suppress the angry sky sword spirit. Moreover, although he was born from the same ancient world, he was still born from the same seal. Ming Yu said solemnly, "I don't understand. Why did you choose such a person? I don't see any potential in him. Blood veins don't have blood vein. His talent is average. It's just a few miraculous cultivation techniques. There's only one of it." Ming Yu wanted to say the word trash again, but he endured it. This kind of person isn't worthy of you at all. That was the truth. Grand Mist's first sword. A divine weapon bred by the ancient world, how could a mere chi refining stage cultivator from a low plane of the universal world be worthy of the first sword strike of the primordial era? However, the sky sword spirit was ice cold as it said, "What the F***CK are you doing?" Ming Yu was startled. He could not see anything wrong with Long Fei. In his eyes, even if it was the gifted soul of Underworld S, he would not even spare a glance for them. There was no hint of surprise on Long Fei's body. Sky Sword Spirit said, "Do you think that you can see everything in the world with just your eyes? Do you think that the thing nurtured by your ancient world is that powerful? Damn it, there are some things that even Duke Ming would not be able to see if he was alive, let alone Emperor Xian." Sky Sword Spirit ruthlessly looked down on him. Ming Yu was a little unhappy. His eye could see everything in the world. Blood vein. Talent. Potential. He could see everything clearly. Even if it was the blood vein S on Emperor Xian, he could still see their talent very clearly. Even if he was being trapped by the seal, how could he not see the situation clearly? Ming Yu said solemnly, "You can doubt me, but you cannot doubt my judgment of him. He is just a weak and lowly warrior. The blood vein on his body, his inherent skill, everything is trash. No, even trash would not be able to match up to him, because he does not have any inherent skills." Ming Yu was also very angry. The Sky Sword Spirit was very high and cold, and it made her feel very disdainful when she looked at Ming Yu. However, to prove that Ming Yu was an eyesore, Sky Sword Spirit said coldly, "Look at him clearly." Suddenly, a ray of light shone down from the Sky Sword Spirit onto Long Fei's body. Immediately, a mark appeared on Long Fei's left arm. Ming Yu was startled. A high-level mark of the Ming clan? Descendant of the Ming clan? Sky Sword Spirit was very dissatisfied. He shouted, "Look carefully." Next, a dragon-shaped mark appeared on Long Fei's right arm. And it was also at this moment that Ming Yu's expression changed, as his eyes stared intently at the imprint that faintly appeared on Long Fei's right arm. "Master, master, mine, my master?" Unbelievable. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. He was completely dumbfounded. Ming Yu muttered, "Master." Chapter 2350, I want to bring him back to ancient world. Chapter 2350, I want to bring him back to ancient world master. Ming Yu called him master? Sky Sword Spirit was also slightly shocked. She only wanted to let Ming Yu know about the hidden power in Long Fei's body, and only wanted to let him know how powerful Long Fei was. Sky Sword Spirit was puzzled. Master? One had to know. Even Pluto did not call him master back then. Just how powerful was Pluto? He was once the strongest person in the ancient world. Even he did not truly manage to tame Mingyu, and now called him Master Long Fei. It was shocking. Mingyu said, "The imprint on his body. Only my master has one, the ancient world, one of a kind." Sky Sword Spirit said, "Isn't that the Dragon Clan's mark?" Dragon-shaped mark was naturally the dragon race's mark. There were many in the ancient world dragon race, so this kind of imprint was not unique. Mingyu said, "No, the Dragon Clan's imprint is different from the imprint on his body. To be exact, it should be his created the Dragon Clan, that's why the Dragon Clan's imprint is similar to the imprint on his body." The Sky Sword Spirit was shocked. The dragon race was created by him? Mingyu said, "You don't know anything at all. Perhaps, no one in this world knows about this, but I am very clear that before the appearance of the Ming clan, when the ancient times were born, my master was already here. He could be said to be an existence that was born in the ancient world at the same time. During that chaotic era, he represented the ancient world and held all of their power. It was also because I was taught a lesson by my master that I was born in the ancient world and became Mingyu's eye. There were still many people who were taught by my master back then, but now, I wonder if those brothers are still here." Mingyu's heart was filled with yearning. That period of domineering days with Long Fei was the most unforgettable moment in his life. Too nostalgic. However, Long Fei suddenly disappeared from behind. Without Long Fei there, none of them would be willing to obey, which resulted in all of them being separated, some even becoming enemies to the point of killing each other. Countless years had passed. How many could still survive in this world? Mingyu wasn't sure either. Long Fei disappeared. He searched everywhere, but he couldn't find anything. Also at that time, the ancient world's nurture gradually took shape, and one after another ancient inheritance was born, and the universal large world also slowly perfected it. After which, Pluto appeared. The reason why Mingyu chose to be Hades' eye was because Hades was capable of bringing him out of this place. He wanted to find Long Fei in another plane. But he couldn't find it no matter how hard he tried. Even if he used all his strength, he wouldn't be able to find it. Now, Mingyu himself wouldn't believe it, but he recognized that mark, and it was extremely familiar. Only his master would have such a mark. Ancient inheritance mark. The same. It was also the first inheritance in the ancient world. It was also the most powerful legacy. It could be said that all of the inheritance power that the current ancient world possessed came from Long Fei, so he was the father of all inheritances. She did not know much about this. After she appeared beside Long Fei and familiarized herself with the information, she knew that her mission was to protect Long Fei. Even she didn't know about her previous life's master. Just like Long Fei, her memories had also been sealed by the seal because of the Sky Sword. "Master, is that you? Is it really you?" Mingyu grew excited, feeling extremely guilty in his heart, and he also hated himself to the extreme. "It's all my fault. It's all my fault for being blind. I'm sorry, I'm sorry." No one could understand the pain in his heart. If not for Long Fei, he would not have been able to become an adult, even after hundreds of billions of years of cultivation. Yet, he had beat his own master down to the ground. This pain, Mingyu wished for nothing more than to kill himself. Sky Sword Spirit said, "He's not dead yet, but we were just a bit off. I deserve to die. I deserve to die. If I kill my master, I will never forgive myself." Mingyu said fiercely with a lonely look in his eyes. Looking at the Long Fei who was lying on the ground, he felt extremely uncomfortable. Sky Sword Spirit also looked at Long Fei. She just couldn't understand it. How could he be your master? Isn't he the descendant of the Dragon Clan? Mingyu had no reason to lie to him. And it was not necessary, because Mingyu began to look down on Long Fei. This sudden turn of events made Mingyu feel as if he had committed a heinous crime. The person born with the ancient world. What kind of person is he? The Sky Sword Spirit muttered to itself. She still couldn't imagine it. If it was really as Mingyu had said, then this man in front of him was really too strong. His potential, talent. Maybe even the gods' tribes could not compare to it. Sky Sword Spirit asked, What do you plan to do now? Mingyu replied without thinking, I don't know why Master has become like this, but no matter what price I have to pay, I will make him return to the peak of the ancient world. I want to bring him back to ancient world. The ancient world is his stage. This low plane of existence will only hinder his progress. Only the power of the ancient world will allow him to grow quickly. The ancient world gave birth to everything. It was like the original world of everything. Amongst the source energy, the training speed was the fastest. The strongest person in the ancient world back then was now a low-level warrior who had fallen to the lower realms. Mingyu felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He could do whatever he wanted if he saw someone in a bad mood. Every living being in the ancient world was afraid of him. Sky Sword Spirit said, return to the ancient world. Mingyu said, that's right, as long as he returns to the ancient world, he believes that his strength will rapidly increase, and that he might be able to unlock the inheritance seal in his body as well. As long as he releases all of the inherited powers of the ancient world and unleashes all of its power, then not to mention the Emperor Xian, even if all of the powerhouse of God's tribe combined, they would not be his match. He had seen Long Fei's power before. Emperor Xian is nothing. Moreover, at that time, Long Fei's ancient inheritance had not yet been cultivated to the great perfection stage. At this moment, Sky Sword Spirit suddenly said, you even yourself are trapped by the seal, and you still want to bring him to the ancient world. I ask you, how are you going to take him? A bucket of ice water was poured over him. Mingyu instantly became a little foolish. Sky Sword Spirit continued, since he is your master, then have you thought about how he became like this? Is this one of his own arrangements? Or should I say, back then, he encountered an enemy that he could not defeat. He needs to start training again. He has many seals on him, the Ming clan's mark is sealed by the seal, and the dragon-shaped mark is also sealed by the seal. If you bring him back to the ancient world, what if his legacy's seal cannot be undone? What's more, right now, he is only a low-level warrior on the Zhenwu continent. His body, his mind, and everything else is unable to withstand the power of the ancient world. Do you want to bring him back to the ancient world? Sky Sword Spirit said fiercely. Can we go back? Chapter 2351, Consumption of Soul Blood Essence. Chapter 2351, Consumption of Soul Blood Essence. Return to the ancient world. Too far away. Not to mention the seal on Mingyu's body, even if he was at his peak state, he would still not be able to bring Long Fei back to ancient world. He couldn't hold it for even a second. Long Fei was only a low-leveled warrior now. Returning to the ancient world, simply impossible. Hearing the Sky Sword's words, Mingyu became silent. Indeed. I can't go back. If he couldn't even handle the seal on himself, how could he go back? After a long time, Mingyu said, Then what do we do? We can't let our master stay in this place, right? This low plane is not worthy of him at all. This sort of plane would only waste his time. In Mingyu's heart, not even the universal realm in the center of universal world was worthy of Long Fei. The Sky Sword Spirit said, he chose to walk this path himself, so he has his reasons. His ancient inheritance did not awaken, and his memories also did not awaken. All we can do is to wait and believe. Waiting for him to break through everything. I need to believe that he can break through everything. Sky Sword Spirit looked at Long Fei, who was lying on the ground. She also wanted to know why she came to his side and why she wanted to protect him. What kind of man was this? How many secrets did he have? To be born together with the ancient world, how unbelievable was this? Mingyu became silent again. After a long time, Mingyu looked at the Sky Sword Spirit and said, Can you help me? Sky Sword Spirit replied, Speak. Mingyu said, Help me break open the seal, I want to stay by boss's side. Back then he protected me, but now I want to protect him no matter what. Sky Sword Spirit glanced at the altar and said, This formation rune and its basics, with my current strength, I can't see any way to break it. She was still too weak. She wasn't too sure. Mingyu said, Do as I say, I will transfer all of the power of Nether in my body to you, and use my power to break the seal. Sky Sword Spirit said, all right, I'll try. And then, Ming Yu's eyes shook, and he said, Sky Point, Dark Profound. Attack. The Sky Sword Spirit moved slightly. Next, all of the Netherworld power in the entire secret world rushed into the Sky Sword. The Sword Spirit was slightly shocked. The power was too strong. Moreover, this was not the normal power of the Netherworld Udumbara flower, but the Soul Blood's profound chi. This was releasing the power of his ancient inheritance. If he consumed too much of it, Ming Yu's life would be in danger. The Sky Sword was also born from the ancient world, and her body similarly possessed the power of ancient inheritance, which was why she was worried for Ming Yu. If he messed up, he would be burnt to ashes. Ming Yu was very indifferent, and said, Don't worry about me, I will be fine. Right now, just do as I say. He once searched everywhere for Long Fei's footprints. After searching for who knows how many years, there was no news. He even thought that Long Fei was dead. But now, after discovering his master, this time, he couldn't afford to miss the opportunity. No matter what, he had to accompany Long Fei by his side. Once, he was just a small spring, allowing others to trample on him. Long Fei treated him as a brother and protected him with his life. In this life, he wanted to protect Long Fei for eternity. The first step he had to do now was to use the breaking through the seal, and walk out of Secret World. Sky Sword Spirit nodded, and said, okay. The sword intent moved. The powerful Netherworld Soul Blood Spirit Essence followed the Sky Sword as it pierced through the air and struck a spot on the altar. In an instant. Buzz. The sacrificial altar hummed and exploded. Ming Yu then said, Tianshu, Zen Acupoint, break. Shua. The Sky Sword struck out again. Rumble. 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 The sacrificial altar continued to crack, and when it exploded, the entire secret world felt as if it was crumbling. Xianyu mountain range was also in an uproar. In the valley. What is that sound? The secret world is collapsing. Long Fei. Along. Yi Yurong shouted loudly towards the crow, if you go in and save him, I'll give the thing to you right now. Xiao Dai immediately asked, Sister Yi, what exactly is inside? How is Along? The huge bloke wanted to charge into the secret world, but the Black Crow warrior held him down tightly, unable to move. He roared continuously, let me go, I want to go in, let me go. Black Crow looked at the cliff and felt a violent vibration. He laughed coldly and said to Yi Yurong, didn't I say it before, you must have brought that thing out with you. Leave it to me. Yi Yurong said, as long as you send someone to save him, I will definitely give it to you. If you can't, even if you kill me, you won't be able to get that thing. Black Crow's eyes darkened. Are you threatening me? Yi Yurong said, I am doing business with you, you save people, I will give you things, but doesn't your Jew family always want it? Now I can tell you, that thing is able to absorb the Empress Qi of the Zhao family, which is also the power of the Dragon Fountain. Yi Yurong said heavily, even though it was a little exaggerated, but what she said was not wrong. Ming Yu was a sacred object of the Ming clan. He indeed had the power to defy the heavens and change fate. The raven's eyes narrowed as its heart skipped a beat. Is this what the great general wants? There's actually such a divine object in the world. Absorb the Emperor's Qi and break the blood vessels of the royal family. In this way, whoever possesses it will gain unparalleled power. The crow became excited. Everyone wanted the unparalleled power of Ji Zun. Rumble. 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 The sound of explosions continuously rang out from within the secret world. The demon beast in the Xianyu mountain range trembled, crawling on the ground as it continuously let out low roars of fear. The valley shook and the earth cracked. Yi Yurong's expression was anxious as he said, quickly go in and save him. The corners of the crow raised as he looked at the entrance of the secret world and said, all right, but you must keep your word. Yi Yurong said, don't worry, Yi Yurong will definitely keep my promise. He was overjoyed. Black Crow's cultivation was very strong, at least above hers. If he just wanted to save Long Fei, Even if he wanted her to die, she would be willing to. If she did not take Mingyu out, Ming clan would definitely be unhappy with her. Maybe he would let her leave the Xian Yu sect and train hard in the wilderness. She was too tired of living. She wanted to live for herself. If she could save Long Fei, she was willing to use her own life in exchange. The crow took a few steps forward with a cold smile on its face. Suddenly, the crow moved, turning into a black shadow. Swish. At the same time, a blood crow flew out of the black shadow. Before Yi Yorong could react, it rushed into her body, and at the same time, the black shadow descended. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The crow laughed out loud. Yi Yorong's face shook. He had been tricked. Who did you say was out of luck? Who did you say was out of luck? She thought that the black crow would enter the secret world. Even if he didn't enter, he wouldn't have attacked her. Then again, Yi Yorong was very worried for Long Fei, because she knew the situation inside, and how strong Mingyu was. He had let the crow take advantage of the moment of carelessness. The crow turned around and sneered, "You want me to go in and die? Do you think I'd be that stupid? Since the item is already in your hands, it doesn't matter whether he dies or not. Yi Yorong, if you know what's good for you, hand it over. Otherwise." Black Crow was not anxious at all. At first, he was still a little worried. But now, the crow had a confident smile on his face. Yi Yorong said, "If you don't save him, don't even think about getting anything." "Is that so?" The crow sneered and said, "Do you know what the thing that just entered your body is? The blood crows that have been nurtured by my blood essence have no other uses than to nibble away at your divine sense. When that time comes, you will become my puppet, and you think that I won't be able to obtain anything from you. Forget about the things on your body, you can be considered your body. I can play around with you however I want to. The body of Zhao Guo's #1 beauty should be pretty good, right?" Ha ha ha. The crow laughed complacently. Xiao Dai scolded, "Shameless, shameless." Black Crow said, "I am despicable, I am shameless. What can you do about it?" "Weak. You're just an ant," Thin Monkey said. "You are cultivating a devil art." Black Crow laughed. "You're right. I am indeed cultivating a demonic art. So what? Yi Yorong, obediently hand over your things. If you don't become a puppet, then I won't be enjoying your life, and my Black Crow army will enjoy your beautiful body. At that time." Ha ha ha. The crow laughed excitedly. The surrounding Black Crow warrior also revealed a perverted smile. Yi Yorong sat cross-legged. Buzz. The energy in his body jolted. Hiss. Yi Yorong took in a deep breath of cold air, and her entire body suddenly trembled. There was a trace of demonic energy moving in her body, and consuming her profound qi. "I forgot to tell you. As long as you channel your qi to resist it, it will immediately activate. At first, it won't be able to move, but now it's alive. It's about to devour your consciousness. Only I have the antidote. As long as you hand it over obediently, I'll help you cure the antidote." The crow became excited and fell into his trap step by step. Perfect. Yi Yorong tried a few times. The more she blocked, the stronger the blood crows became. It was just as the crows had said. The blood crow began to nibble away at his divine sense. Once it was under control, she would turn into a puppet. However, Yi Yorong didn't like to admit defeat. She could even forcibly resist the poison of the everlasting burning sword. She definitely wouldn't let a mere blood crow do as it pleased. In that instant, a Ming clan cultivation technique was activated inside Yi Yorong's body. Streams of power of nether were sucked into Yi Yorong's body from the ground. The crow's eyes widened. Demonic art. I never thought that the dignified young sect master of the Xianyu sect would actually cultivate devil arts as well. However, it's too late now. While they were talking, Black Crow's eyes moved. A Black Crow warrior punched Xiao Dai in the abdomen. Ah! Xiao Dai could not help but scream. Black Crow laughed. "Don't even think about resisting. The more you resist, the more unbearable it will be for you. These people should be your friends, right? You don't want to see them all die here, Do you? Yi Yorong, hand over the thing obediently and I'll spare your lives. Xiao Dai endured the pain and said, Sister Yi, don't worry about us. Thin Monkey also said, don't worry about us. Long Fei's life and death was unknown. Now, Yi Yorong was poisoned again. Under these circumstances, even if they handed over the items, the crow wouldn't let them off either. Even a fool would understand. Seeing that Yi Yorong had closed his eyes slightly, the black crow became angry inside. He grabbed the Thin Monkey and said solemnly, Didn't you say that you want me to go and save him? There must be something horrible in there, right? With one hand, he grabbed Thin Monkey and suddenly smashed towards the entrance of the secret world. Boom! Thin Monkey's body was instantly engulfed by the secret world. Yi Yorong frowned. There were many super monster S inside, but they were not Ming Clan S. The moment he entered the secret world, he would be immediately sensed by the demon beast and instantly sliced into pieces. Yo! You're beginning to worry? Ha ha ha. I already said, as long as you hand over the item, I will spare your lives. The crow said coldly. Yi Yorong did not speak. However, the crow had something to be patient about. A warrior said, General, let's cripple her first. Black Crow smiled slightly and said, Your suggestion is not bad. First, I will cripple you and then let my brothers have a good time. Zhaog was number one beauty. While they were talking, the crow moved. Yi Yorong's eyes opened wide, and summoned the Xian Yu underworld wheel on her right hand. Without waiting for the crow to attack, she charged out first, and shouted in her heart, Dark technique. Yu Ming Yu. The Xian Yu underworld wheel split in half and suddenly flew out. A strong power of the netherworld Udumbara flower burst out from Yi Yorong's body. She had been secretly gathering her strength ever since she sat down cross-legged. She did not resist the Blood Crow's attacks. He had been waiting for the Black Crows to make their move. In terms of cultivation, Yi Yorong and the black figure were still not that far away. However, a sudden explosion. Yi Yorong moved with all his might. Rumble. Nether wheels left and right bags. Black Crow's expression froze. He did not expect Yi Yorong to be able to unleash such a powerful force, and by the time he could react, it was already too late. In the blink of an eye. Boom. A powerful move struck the crow directly on its abdomen. The raven exploded. Yi Yorong was even faster. He did not wait for the crow to land on the ground, he continuously used his powerful killing move and attacked crazily. Bang, bang, bang. The crow was knocked back consecutively and was caught unprepared by the attack. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. He was sent flying and crashed into a rock, crashing to the ground. Yi Yorong's face turned sinister, and did not let it go. The Black Crow was at least at the 8th stage of the refinement realm, and it was one of the people close to Ju Yaozong. It must have had a protective treasure on it, which could be clearly felt from the attack just now. They definitely could not let him get up again. Otherwise, all of them would die. At this moment, Yi Yorong became like an ice-cold god of death. Attack quickly. However, suddenly, a sharp pain came from her abdomen. The wound was torn, and blood flowed out. His movements and speed instantly slowed down. At this moment, Black Crow crawled up from the ground and saw Yi Yorong's abdomen. His expression immediately changed. So, you are the one who cut off the Crown Prince's life, the one who was heavily injured by the everlasting burning sword in Zhao Wuji's hand. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect it to be you. Then this time, you will be even more unlucky. Immediately, the crow glared ferociously and was about to charge out. At this moment, a person stood at the entrance of Secret World and asked, Who do you think is going to be unlucky? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.